there might be nothing more fitting than the 93-year-old tradition of Script, Ohio, played by the Ohio State Marching Band in the middle of the field to begin the 2025 College Football Playoff National Championship. Hi, everybody, and welcome into Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. It is a scarlet-heavy crowd with parcels of emerald amongst the 71,000 plus here at this 7-year-old indoor venue. The Ohio State drum major sweeps up to midfield. The sousaphone player dots the I, and we are just set to go about 24 minutes away from kickoff between the 8-seed Ohio State Buckeyes and the 7-seed Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He's Connor Canfield. I'm Tyler Danburg. Connor, Schuh, and Austin Crume will also be with you on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Not much better way to begin this than with the pageantry of Script, Ohio.
I mean, no, there's arguably no other better tradition in the world of college football than Script, Ohio, and it's only fitting, too, that it starts a game between two of the most storied programs in all of college athletics, Ohio State, Notre Dame, two of the most recognizable brands in all of college football. And they've got 60 minutes for a chance at glory here. And for the third straight year, they'll be playing as well. And that's certainly something that is going to play a factor. These teams know each other, but the last 2 years are child's play compared to the stakes that we have tonight.
Ohio State 13-2 under the tutelage of sixth-year head coach Ryan Day, who has led Ohio State to 3 wins since falling to Michigan 13-10 in the final week of the regular season. Notre Dame 14-1, led by third-year head coach Marcus Freeman, a former two-time second-team All-Big Ten linebacker at Ohio State. Now the script has been flipped, and he's going to look to try and get his first win against Ohio State, his alma mater. The Buckeyes have topped him twice with 2 wins, one at Ohio Stadium, a 21-10 victory. That was a top 5 matchup. And then a 17-14 win last September 23rd, 2023 at Notre Dame Stadium. Chip Trayanum, formerly of Arizona State, then of Ohio State, then of Kentucky, and then Toledo, where he'll play next year, punched in a game-winning touchdown. And certainly he's been all over the place, but his legacy has been entrenched on that 1-yard run to beat the Golden Domer.
Absolutely. I mean, when you get a big play to beat Notre Dame like that, your name is always going to go down in Ohio State lore, and that was a big part. That wasn't a pretty game for either side. It was a very defensive-heavy game, but, I mean, arguably the best drive of former quarterback Kyle McCord's career came in that game, was able to lead Ohio State down, and like you said, Chip Trayanum able to finish. So now it's Notre Dame. You've lost to this team 2 straight years now. Obviously, national championship, whole different ball game, but you have to get rid of those demons. You just can't seem to bring Ohio State. And Marcus Freeman, you mentioned it, the connection of Ohio State. To him, that doesn't matter. That's all out the window. I'm just trying to coach and get my team prepared for the national championship. I don't care about the relationship I have. I've got friends there, obviously, most notably, linebacker coach James Laurinaitis for the Buckeyes, where they played together for years for Ohio State. But that's all out the window for Marcus Freeman. He's just trying to win a national championship for the Fighting Irish, their first since 1988. But it's been a tough task for former players against Ohio State as a coach. Overall, all-time, it's an 8-26-1 record in those games for the former coaches. It's not been good. And Marcus Freeman, I mean, a chance to kind of erase all that with a national title win here tonight.
And Urban Meyer, who has coached at both Notre Dame and Ohio State, is the last Buckeyes head coach to win a national championship. That could change. That could stay the same. We're 20.5 minutes away from kickoff between Ohio State and Notre Dame. The marching band of Notre Dame out on the field performing the victory march. And Connor, it's interesting. You're talking about Marcus Freeman and Ryan Day, and we'll get into the game, but it fits in with you talking about how historical these programs are. They both have said this week they want to recognize the past, but they're focused on the future.
Yeah, and that's such a big part. I mean, if you're, in Notre Dame's case especially, if you're just reaching back for the Demons, you're already off to a bad start. These are two different teams. Obviously, everyone makes the mark of Ohio State with the transfer portal, how much money was spent in that aspect. There's a lot of different players for Ohio State, a lot of different players for Notre Dame. Whole new quarterback under center for the Fighting Irish this year. So there's just so many different pieces. So yes, while these two teams have played each other, it is 2 different teams. So you got to like that from both sides, just the mentality of, hey, what's in the past is in the past, but let's focus on the future. Because like I said, last 2 years is child's play compared to the stakes you got at this. This is a chance for two programs, at least for Ohio State's case, haven't won a title in 10 years. For Notre Dame, you got to go back decades. 1988, like I said, they're hungry for a title, so you can't keep looking to the past. Now it's the future, and now you are just hours away from a chance from lifting the trophy once again and bringing a title back to this school. So, I mean, both these teams are just focused on the future and what is the magnitude in this game.
19 minutes away from kickoff. Connor, you know what both these teams have in common. They have responded emphatically after a debilitating loss. Let's start off with Notre Dame. A Week 2 16-14 loss against Northern Illinois, who finished 4th last in the Mid-American Conference in South Bend at Notre Dame Stadium. Since then, they've scored 39 points per game on average since that loss. And
sometimes you really just need a big loss, I feel like, to wake up a team. Obviously, it's tough to win every game that you're going to play. You're going to have losses, but for Notre Dame, that was a shocking loss, and some might say an embarrassing loss to a Northern Illinois team who was a heavy underdog. Like you said, was bottom table for the most part in the MAC, and they just went into Notre Dame Stadium, and they went out with a stunner. 2-point victory for them, but since then, you mentioned 39 points per game since then. 13 wins in a row, and against some good teams too. You had an Army team who at the time was undefeated before going into the Bronx and losing that at Yankee Stadium. You got an Indiana team who I know everyone, I feel like, kind of doubts, but that was a good Indiana team. Georgia, Penn State, a lot of big wins in that time frame for the Fighting Irish, so that was a huge response to the win. And then you look at Ohio State. Obviously, everyone knows they lost to Michigan. Everyone feels like all the outside noise, season's over, lost to Michigan for another year, but Ohio State, they really responded. And I think the Players Tribune article that Jack Sawyer just wrote and was released this week kind of summarized that well. A lot of conversations were had that team after that game, a players-only meeting with Ryan Day in attendance as well, and it wasn't pretty. There was a lot of yelling at each other, but they're able to work out the kinks. And, you know, to me, I feel like as much as you hate to lose to Michigan as an Ohio State team, it was almost what you needed, because since then the Buckeyes, they're playing lights out. 2 top 10 wins, or should I say 3 straight top 10 wins by double digits. I mean, this team has completely responded. Their backs were against the wall. A lot of teams would have rolled over against Tennessee like Ohio State could have after that debilitating loss. They came out, responded, and they haven't looked back so far.
If Ohio State, Connor, were to win tonight, per ESPN stats and info, that will put them at 5 wins over AP top 5 opponents this year. That will be the most in college football history in a single season. Let's talk about the Cotton Bowl. Last Friday, a 28-14 win over the Texas Longhorns, the 5 seed in this 12-team playoff. And boy, did Jack Sawyer come through with the 83-yard scoop and score, longest fumble return in CFP history.
I mean, that was the play that put Jack Sawyer in Buckeye history, Buckeye lore. I mean, and that is fitting too with the play that Jack Sawyer had against Michigan, that goal line interception on Davis Warren, which if the Buckeyes had gone on to win that game, that would have cemented Jack Sawyer in Ohio State legacy. But that was forgotten. Ohio State lost that game, but he got his second chance, and that was so much of a more important and different play there to send the Buckeyes to a national championship victory. And what really went for naught, and I think kind of forgotten in that game, was the gritty effort that the Ohio State, not only defense, but I think the defense has been playing phenomenal, but the offense put on. Obviously, they didn't score as much as they did in the first 2 games. They were struggling to score at times, especially in that third quarter. But when they needed them most, when the defense was starting to get tired, the offense went out there, took over 6 minutes of clock in that fourth quarter, went down the field over 10 plays, and they went in and they were able to punch the ball in the end zone with Quinshon Judkins. That was arguably the turning point of the game. Obviously, the sealer was that Jack Sawyer scoop and score, but the turning point of that game was that big drive that put the Buckeyes back out in front, and they never looked back. If you don't get that, if you're Ohio State, there's a very good chance Texas goes on and wins that game, because they had more energy, they had more momentum, and they had pretty much everything to play for down that last stretch. But that was such a big part of that game for Ohio State. So you got to have that offensive mentality, that gritty effort, because this is going to be a Notre Dame defense that's going to be very tough to score on.
And that Notre Dame defense came through with a turning point in their game. One night before the Cotton Bowl, in the Orange Bowl, Christian Gray intercepted a Drew Rattler pass to the Penn State 40. Mitch Jeter connected on a 41-yard game-winning field goal, and the Fighting Irish advanced to the College Football Playoff National Championship with a 27-24 win over the Penn State Nittany Lions.
And I think a big part of that was the end of the first half, where Riley Leonard went out, was getting tested for a potential concussion. Steve Angeli came out 6 of 7 completions, 44 yards, went down, got the Irish on the board on a field goal to end the first half. After that, Riley Leonard came back out, and there was a video that was released from the Notre Dame locker room during that halftime. And Marcus Freeman, he was not worried. He knew that they can come back and win this game. They just had to establish the run, get some stops. That they did. They were able to get a few stops. They were able to score the ball on offense. And then the big turnover by Christian Gray there on Drew Aller towards the end. Like you mentioned, Mitch Sheeter was able to knock it through and send the Irish to the national championship game. So it wasn't a pretty game, but Notre Dame, they were to dig deep into the bag against a good Penn State team and come out with it. So both these teams got big turnovers when they needed it. Obviously, that's a big part of Notre Dame's game, is the turnovers. We'll get more about that later. But both these teams were able to get the big turnovers, get a couple of big drives out of their offense, and then just push their way into this national title game. So neither team had a very pretty game, but they were able to get enough done to win.
Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles had 3 tackles for loss in the Cotton Bowl. That is a career high. We caught up with Sonny Styles, who's got more. We're 13 minutes, 45 seconds and ticking away from kickoff between Ohio State and Notre Dame in the 2025 College Football Playoff National Championship. That's Grammy Award-winning R&B singer Coco Jones with the Star Spangled Banner. And if it hasn't set in already, it might have just done that. We're under 10 minutes away from kickoff between 8-seed Ohio State, 7-seed Notre Dame for the national championship in college football. He's Connor Canfield. I'm Tyler Danburg. Connor Schuh, Austin Crume will also be on the call. Connor and Connor will have the first half call. And you can just hear the buzz. It's palpable here, Connor. Who's a player to watch on both sides for both the Buckeyes and the Fighting Irish?
Well, Ohio State's a visiting team, so we'll start with them. I think on offense, you got to look for Quinshon Judkins today. I think he's going to be a huge part to this Ohio State offense. Travion Henderson's had the big plays for Ohio State in their playoffs. There's no doubt about that. But Judkins' hard running has really moved the ball for Ohio State here today. And against a Notre Dame team that is very tough to pass against, he can certainly be a key to unlock the Ohio State offense here today. I think for Ohio State, you look at Cody Simon. He's had a phenomenal playoff so far. 11 tackles, 3 TFLs, 2 sacks against Oregon. He has 30 tackles in this college football playoff. He has been such a big key to this Ohio State defense. That leader in the middle, it's his last game. Look for him to show out. When you look at Notre Dame on offense, there's so many people you can watch out for. I think you look towards Jeremiah Love. I think if this is a very tough Ohio State team to run against, but this is a Notre Dame team that averages over 210 per game on the ground. Riley Leonard can run the ball, but so can Jeremiah Love. He's averaging 7 yards per carry on the season and scored a touchdown on the ground in every game except that Georgia game in the Sugar Bowl. So he can certainly unlock this Notre Dame defense, or should I say offense. Meanwhile, defense, I think you look at the man in the middle as well. Jack Kaiser, program record in terms of games played. This will be his 70th and final game for Notre Dame. He has been an Ironman, over 270 career tackles. He's a veteran to have in the middle and on defense for Notre Dame. So look for him to try to show out in his last time on the field.
And it's a matchup with quarterback connections. 2 quarterbacks who started at different schools, now going up against each other at other schools in the national championship. Riley Leonard, formerly of Duke, now at Notre Dame. Will Howard, formerly of Kansas State, now at Ohio State. Those 2 roomed together at the Manning Passing Academy, along with Tyler Van Dyke and Cade Klubnik. It's going to be a matchup of so many storylines. 2 of the top 4 winningest programs about to duke it out from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. A team with 19 combined national titles between these 2, and it's going to be 20. The question is, who will it be? We're going to find out next on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Ohio State, Notre Dame, up next with Connor Schuh and Connor Canfield on the call. You're listening to Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio.
Welcome back into Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Ohio State Buckeyes both running onto the field as we speak here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Connor Canfield to my side. I'm Connor Schuh, joined by Austin Crume and Tyler Danburg as well for the rest of this call. The national championship matchup, Notre Dame number 7 in the CFP, Ohio State number 8. both facing some real odds coming into this matchup. But Connor, this is just a real sight to see.
It is indeed. Ohio State running onto the field, backed by the cheers of the Scarlet and Gray, flanking a good chunk of the stadium, and they're running into the boos of the green that is splashed throughout this stadium. There's a lot of fanfare here for this one, obviously with the national title on the line, and it's certainly been a sight to behold over this entire weekend here from Atlanta. It's been certainly an experience, but it all culminates here. 60 minutes for a shot at glory for both teams here coming up.
Each of these teams have had very unique paths. Of course, Notre Dame, they had the opening loss to Northern Illinois University, and all thought the season was lost for them, but they didn't lose a single game after that. Beat Indiana, Georgia, and Penn State in the playoff to get here. Ohio State, they had to lose to Michigan in the rivalry matchup in their final regular season game, and ripped through the playoffs, beat Tennessee at home, beat Oregon in the Rose Bowl, and of course beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl. And here they are against Notre Dame, two of the most stout defenses in the nation. Ohio State number 1 in scoring defense, around 12 points per game allowed, and Notre Dame number 2, 14 points per game allowed. And Mr. Canfield, I think that is probably one of the biggest storylines in this game today.
I think absolutely. I mean, you look at a game, last game in terms of Ohio State, you had two good defense go out in that. In that one, only 35 combined points on offense, and not including the scoop and score for Jack Sawyer. Ohio State had to grind that one out. Notre Dame had to do the same thing in the Orange Bowl against Penn State. Very tough to score against the Nittany Lions. And Notre Dame, they just got enough to get past. Here, it's going to be much of the same, you got to assume, between these two defenses that are so tough to score against. It's going to take pretty much every inch. They say the old Woody Hayes ball, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I think that could certainly be a mentality we see today.
It certainly could be. Jack Sawyer, he made that game-winning play, some say, against Texas, and Caleb Downs wrapped it all up with that big interception. And then in that Notre Dame game against Penn State, Drew Aller threw the interception to Christian Gray, the man who really solidified that victory for them as the coin toss is about to happen. Notre Dame out there with their captains, Jack Kaiser, Riley Leonard, Howard Cross, and then Benjamin Morrison. He's out there. He hasn't played a whole lot this season, out with an injury very, very early on, but he's still out there with the team. Xavier Watts also out there, one of the other captains and an All-American safety. That's one heck of a group for the Fighting Irish.
Oh, absolutely. And really the big part, too, here, the cool part, Ohio State, their usual captains, Abuka, Jack Sawyer, Travion Henderson, Cody Simon, all playing their last games. It's the cool special captains, Archie Griffin for Ohio State, Jerome Bettis for Notre Dame. That's a cool touch. We can head down the field for that.
Can't quite get the coin toss with our field mic here, unfortunately. However, we'll let you guys know the result of this here in a moment. And it looks like Ohio State's going to defer. They won the toss. They had tails. So Notre Dame will have the football first, Connor. How do you think that impacts this game?
I think it's a huge impact for Notre Dame. You have a chance to go out and establish a momentum early, something that Ohio State has done so well throughout this playoffs. They have scored first in all 3 games, and of course, they're 3-0 in those games. Ohio State has grabbed the momentum so early every time. Notre Dame, you have a chance to take that advantage completely away from Ohio State here by trying to score on this first drive. This is one of the most important drives of the game, you could probably say, coming up here for the Fighting Irish.
And who do you think the most important player on that Notre Dame offense is?
Well, I said in the pregame show, it's going to be Jeremiah Love. I think a tough Ohio State offense to run against. He's going to need to have a big game to help out his quarterback. But I'm also going to highlight the quarterback here in Riley Leonard. He is someone that Notre Dame really needs a big game against. 233 through the air, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks against Penn State in the Orange Bowl. You can't have more interceptions like that if you're Leonard, but he is important to know he can run the ball. He can really gash the defense big reason why Notre Dame averages over 210 on the ground per game. Watch out for him.
They're one of the best rushing attacks in the nation, Connor. 210.8 yards per game is 14th nationally for the Fighting Irish. And, well, them and the Buckeyes are the only teams left, and they're probably the best running team in the CFP that we've seen this year, and that ground game has really propelled them here. And you can't forget about Jadarian Price, the change of pace back. He had over 700 yards on around 100 carries this year. Here comes the kicking team for Ohio State. Jaden Fielding out there to boot the kickoff away. Ball on its tee on the 35-yard line at the near hashes, swings the leg through. Ball travels end over end through the back of the end zone. It is a touchback for Notre Dame.
And here we go. Like I said, chance to establish the momentum early for Notre Dame. This is a team that can struggle to pass the ball at times. I mentioned the running game's going to be big, but you have to back that up with passing. Averaging under 200 per game on the season, you got to have a little bit more to beat this stout Ohio State defense.
Riley Leonard steps out there with his team. Ball spotted on the 25-yard line of Notre Dame's side of the field on the far hash line. He is in the empty formation. Jeremiah Love now joins him on his left hip in the backfield. Two wide receivers out to his right, one alone to his left. Claps takes the snap, hands off to Jeremiah Love, runs forward into JT Tuimoloau, getting a tackle for loss, drops him for one.
And they try to go right up the middle that time. Cody Simon led the charge, but blew it up. He spun away, but JTT was right there. This is going to be a big to watch out. What he does in this game, was injured in that Cotton Bowl, doesn't have a wrap on that ankle. He's going to be a big part for this Ohio State defense.
It'll go as a loss of one. It's 2nd and 11, ball on the 24-yard line here in the first quarter of the National Championship. 14 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. Riley Leonard in the shotgun. Jeremiah Love to his right. Claps, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, runs it himself on the QB draw right up the middle. Tackled down by Sonny Styles at about the 33. That's a gain of roughly 9 yards. Good run from the Duke transfer.
Yeah, it's about, like you said, about 9 yards. That's a designed QB draw right up the middle. That's what Riley Leonard can bring. He can pass the ball when he needs to, and he can use his legs. Very dangerous dual threat in the backfield.
They'll call him the 32, not the 33. It's 3rd and 3, 14 minutes to go. Leonard in the shotgun. Love to his right. Jaden Greathouse out wide to the right with Chris Mitchell. He takes the snap, runs it up the middle on his design run again, and he's tackled by Tyleek Williams. It looks like he got the first.
That he did. Another QB draw, and the middle is going to be a big part. Notre Dame very veteran heavy up at that front. They've also been banged up on the O-line just like Ohio State, so it's got enough of a push to get the first down.
Made it up to the 36-yard line. It's a gain of 4. Riley Leonard in the shotgun. Love to his right yet again. The superstar running back has been battling a knee injury. He is playing through. Had well over 1,000 yards this season. Leonard takes the snap, drops back, looks to his left, now looks to the right, fires over the middle to Chris Mitchell, and the ball was just a little bit too long for the FIU transfer.
That's good patience there by Leonard. He went through his progressions, looked to the left and looked to the right, and Chris Mitchell with a nice move on Denzel Burke to get the inside release on the crosser, and just a low throw by Leonard. Didn't hit him in the hands, but that was a pretty wide open pass and a missed opportunity.
That's been the question about Leonard. His arm around 2,600 passing yards this year. It's 2nd and 10. 13-13 on the clock here in the first quarter. Ball on the 36-yard line. It's in the middle of the field. Riley Leonard points out a defensive back and trying to figure out the formation. Leonard claps, takes the snap, looks right, fires right to Chris Mitchell on the slant, and gets it up to about the 45 on the catch, tackled by Jordan Hancock just ahead of the big CFP National Championship logo.
And enough for a first down, just enough. Mitchell, like you said, slant on Burke. Watch that matchup on the outside, 10 against 10. Looks like Notre Dame looking to exploit that early.
The Florida international transfer had 1,100 yards last year. Set 1st and 10, ball on the 46-yard line on Notre Dame's side. Mitchell Evans, the tight end, is in motion. Leonard in the shotgun, drops back, fires it in the flat on the left side to Jeremiah Love. Running upfield at the numbers, tackled by Cody Simon at the opposing 46-yard line. And that's a gain of approximately 8 yards.
At Notre Dame, you look at them going quick and just using quick passes to get the ball out of Leonard's hands so far. They're just trying to get the ball out of Leonard's hands quick and just use the yards after catch to move the ball, and it's working so far.
2nd and 3, 12-12 to go on the clock. Ball spotted at the far hash line on the 47-yard line. Leonard in the shotgun. Jeremiah Love on his left hip. Evans, the tight end, in line. Leonard takes the snap, runs up to the left side, gets stopped by Tyleek Williams and Kenyatta Jackson, and they spin him to the ground. That run went nowhere.
Another design QB run, and Leonard got through that first initial tackle, but he was stonewalled by Tyleek Williams. Got a couple, 3rd and 1. And you got to imagine Notre Dame in 4-down territory here.
He got forward progress. They give him 3rd and 1. 11:35 in the first quarter of the Natty. Ball on the 45-yard line. Far hash. Split backfield for Riley Leonard. Love on his left. Jadarian Price on his right. Lone receiver out wide to the right and left side. Motions Love out. Now he runs back and takes it on the sweep. Running up to the right side, and he is mashed down by 3 Buckeye defenders, Kenyatta Jackson, Cody Simon, and Sonny Stiles. For the loss, it's 4th and 1.
That's good outside contained by Ohio State. They were able to just stay home on the outside, and he wasn't able to turn the corner in the slightest. And now, 4th and short here for Notre Dame. They're keeping the offense on the field.
We'll see what Mike Denbrock cooks up here on 4th down. Marcus Freeman elects to keep his team on the field. 4th and 1, 10:46 to go. Ball on the 45-yard line. Leonard in the shotgun. Jadarian Price in there. The receiver in motion. Leonard takes the snap, runs and falls forward for the 1st down. Eventually tackled by Sonny Stiles just outside the hashes.
There's another keeper for Leonard. That is now his 5th carry here in this opening drive. And he's able to lower that shoulder across the line of scrimmage and get just enough for the 1st down.
1st and 10, 10:16 to go. Ball on the 42-yard line in Ohio State territory. 1st quarter of the national championship. Leonard motions his tight end, Eli Raridan. Leonard takes the snap, looks right, standing in the pocket, steps up, runs to his right, out towards the numbers, fires it downfield towards his tight end. Raridan gets a gain up to the 28-yard line, and that is a 1st down.
That's good pocket presence there by Leonard. Recognized the blitz coming off the edge, was able to flush out of that pocket. Good blocking on the right side, and just Raridan came wide open, worked up his quarterback, and moves the chains again. Fighting Irish now driving it past the 30.
Leonard 3 of 4 for 31 yards. He's rushed for 17 as well. The Duke transfer senior quarterback in his 1st year with Notre Dame. Leonard in empty formation. Jadarian Price in motion, running to his left. Snap goes to Leonard, looking left, firing towards Chris Mitchell, and outside of his outstretched arms. They can't connect once again.
And once again, Mitchell working on Denzel Burke there on that outside. Looked like a little bit of a hit drop that time. Was able to gain separation from Burke. And for the 2nd time this drive, Leonard just missed him. An inaccurate pass, and that cost him another 1st down.
3 targets, 1 catch for Chris Mitchell. Only 20 catches this season, but he's been targeted 3 times already. 2nd and 10, 9:23 on the clock. Ball on the 28-yard line on the near hash. Leonard in the shotgun, motions Raridan to the left side, the tight end. Price in the backfield with him. He hands it off, runs to his left, gets the corner, running, only has Caleb Downs to beat, and he wraps him up and spins him down right at about the sticks at the 19-yard line. Nearly moved the chains.
That's a great job there by the left side of that Notre Dame line to keep that going. Bo Collins sealed the edge that time, and once again, Caleb Downs doing what he does best, saving touchdowns, because if he's not there on that edge, chance that Price is able to run right into the end zone, saves the touchdown, and forces a 3rd down.
Big run from Jadarian Price. 733 yards and 7 touchdowns this year. 3rd and 1, 8:45, ball on the 19-yard line. Far hash, Leonard in the shotgun, 3 receivers. Deion Colsey in motion. Leonard takes the snap, runs it right up the seam, and is gang tackled, but is pushed forward by his offensive line to almost the 14 on the QB sneak. It's a 1st down.
Just copy and paste. Get 3rd and short. Let Riley Leonard and his legs go to work. QB draw right up the middle, and a good seal that time, and a good push by Rocco Spindler, the right guard, to get enough for that 1st down.
And there were questions about Spindler's availability coming into this game. He was a little banged up, but was able to practice and play tonight. 1st and 10, ball on the 14-yard line, 8 minutes to go. Ball in between the hashes. Leonard in the shotgun, claps once, hands off to Love. Love runs up the left side, tackled by Sonny Stiles at the 12. might be a gain of 2 for Love.
Yeah, Siles hit him second. Edric Houston got his ankles at first, and that's a nice stop there for Ohio State just to get a short gain, because Notre Dame, they've really been gashing it so far, averaging about 4.5 per play. You just need those short gains just to get off the field here.
Love struggling early, 1 yard on 3 carries. It's 2nd and 8, 7:30 to go. Ball on the 12 on the far hash. Split backfield for Leonard. He motions out Jordan Faison. Leonard rolls right, trying to beat the edge on Caden McDonald, fakes the throw, then he runs all the way to about the 5, push out of bounds by Caleb Downs. And they're right on the doorstep, 5-yard line.
That's once again a good job by Caleb Downs. He had to kind of play the in-between that time, whether he defends the pass or whether he defends the run. He's able to just to push Leonard out of bounds before he turned that corner, because if not, he had the first down and potentially a tightrope into the end zone.
Exactly 7 minutes to go, 3rd and 3. Ball on the 7. They say he was pushed out earlier. It's going to be spotted on the near hash line. 2 wide receivers on the wide side of the field. Leonard in the shotgun, Jeremiah Love to his left. 2 more receivers on the right side. Great house in motion. Leonard takes the handoff, runs up the middle, and fell forward, a gain of 1 or 2 yards. So didn't quite get the first down. It's 4th and 1 on the 5. Decision time for Marcus Freeman again.
I mean, with the way it's been working, it's like the tush push for the Eagles. Just the QB draw up the middle has gotten the first down every time for Notre Dame. Gotta imagine they probably go right back to the well here on the 10-yard line.
It's that, or they can take points with their kicker, Mitch Jeter. 6:13 to go and counting. Ball on the 5-yard line here. Play clock is at 10. Leonard empty set. Standing in the shotgun. Motions Jaden Greathouse closer to the line. Leonard takes a snap, runs it up the gut yet again. Gets some push from his line, getting towards the goal line, and falls down at about the 1. A gang of Buckeyes brought him down, and that is a Fighting Irish first down.
And there it is, right on cue. I called it. QB draw right up the middle, and Ohio State just hasn't been able to defend it. Great push once again by the line, and now it's down to 1. And Ohio State last time they were on, one of the last times they're on defense, they got that big goal line stop. Jack Sawyer said, "Give us an inch, we'll defend it." Chance to back that up here as Notre Dame's just been marching the ball right down the field on the opening drive.
It can be a little bit tough when you're only bringing 2 linebackers out there if you're Ohio State. 1st and goal, ball on the 1-yard line, 5:20 to go. Leonard takes the snap, runs up the middle again, and is untouched into the end zone. Notre Dame touchdown, Riley Leonard, his 17th this year on the ground.
And they went right back to the well. It was QB draw right up the middle, and no one was able to get there for Ohio State. Great blocking, 18 plays, 75 yards, 9 minutes, 45 seconds on that drive for Notre Dame. Clearly trying to control the time of possession, keep the high-powered Ohio State offense off the field as much as you can. And if you can execute like that, this is going to be a very long night for that Ohio State defense.
Time of possession is really the key to victory for them. Riley Leonard, 34 rushing yards and a touchdown to go with 31 passing yards on that first long drive. 5:15 to go. Mitch Jeter out there to boot the extra point, through which he does, and gets a loud roar from the Fighting Irish faithful here at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the National Championship. We'll get our first media timeout of the ball game. We'll be back in a couple of minutes here at Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Your score is 7-0 Notre Dame over Ohio State. 7-0 is your score with 5:15 left to go in the first quarter of the National Championship. Notre Dame holds that lead over Ohio State, and this is the first time we've ever seen this Buckeye team be down in this college football playoff, and even that, this is the first time they've allowed points in the first quarter, and that's on the back of that 18-play scoring drive by Notre Dame, the longest scoring drive in BCS and CFP championship game history. Incredible.
I mean, it's now for Ohio State. You mentioned it. First time you've been down all playoffs. Your backs are, not to say backs are against the wall because you have so much time, but you're playing from behind for the first time. How do you respond if the Buckeyes? That's going to be the big question and what we can answer here, because it feels like you really need a response if Notre Dame is going to just be able to take time off the clock like that.
Certainly, as Mitch Jeter boots away the kickoff. Pass to Emeka Egbuka through the back of the end zone. Jeter, the South Carolina transfer. Buckeyes are going to get the ball at the 25-yard line after another quick break here at Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. After another media timeout, it is 7-0 at the 5:15 mark. Notre Dame leads. And we're back here at Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Notre Dame leads 7-0 over the Ohio State Buckeyes with 5 minutes and 15 seconds left to go. Buckeyes will get the ball for the first time here after the 9-minute, 45-second, 18-play, 75-yard drive by Notre Dame. And what's the priority here for Chip Kelly's offense?
I think for Ohio State, you get that run game going. You got a ground and pound right back at them. I think if you were able to get some time of possession yourself, that's going to balance out this game a little bit if Notre Dame's trying to go with the possession battle. So I feel like if you get that running game going, it's going to help Will Howard out, give him some time back there, and that's going to help out this Ohio State team overall. But really, we mentioned it before we went to break, first time you've been down in this entire playoffs. How does this Ohio State team respond? Because this is uncharted territory here over these last 3 games.
They've certainly faced some adversity throughout their season, but nothing like this in a college football playoff game in this 2024 season. They've won their last 6 matchups against Notre Dame and looking to win their 7th, but it's not looking good for them early. But that's the thing, it's early. 5 minutes and 15 seconds to go in quarter number 1 here in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Connor Canfield alongside me, Connor Schuh. Buckeyes are out there in the middle of the field. Will Howard in the shotgun, Travion Henderson to his right. He's actually going to get behind him under center now, Will Howard. 2 tight ends set. Emeka Egbuka in motion. Jeremiah Smith alone on the right side. Handoff to Travion Henderson. Runs to his left. Breaks a couple of tackles up to the 30-yard line. And he is tackled down by Jack Kaiser, the all-time games played leader at Notre Dame.
Yeah, playing his 70th game today. Got up there on the edge in a hurry. But Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, the two-headed monster of the backfield, both with a chance to go over 1,000 rushing yards this season here today. That's a good start for Henderson, gain of 5.
2nd and 5, 4:48 on the clock, ball on the 30-yard line of Ohio State here in the first quarter. Howard in the shotgun. Henderson to his left, moves to his right side now. Tate in line on the left side. Howard takes the snap, hands off to Henderson, following his blockers, but spun down right at the line of scrimmage again by Jack Kaiser. 2 tackles for him.
That time, that left side of the line for Ohio State, and Donovan Jackson was not able to pave a hole for him. It was Tegra Shabola pulling off that right side. He was just not able to seal Kaiser off that time through that A gap, and Henderson danced, but he couldn't progress.
Howard in the shotgun once again. Travion Henderson, the senior running back, to his left. Jeremiah Smith alone on the left side. Brandon Innes in motion on the right side with Aguka and Tate. Fakes the handoff. Howard fires to the left side to Smith. Curls around after the catch and gets the first down as he's brought down out there by Leonard Moore, the freshman All-American cornerback.
Interesting matchup there. Freshman All-American on freshman All-American. And Smith won that battle. And that second effort, I think Moore had him wrapped up behind the sticks, but he was just able to lunge forward, use that strength to get there. And that's going to be the question. How can Ohio State get Smith involved? 1 catch, 3 yards last time against Texas. Notre Dame plays man more than any other team in college football. One of the highest users of that. Could potentially unlock Jeremiah Smith here tonight.
Howard in the shotgun, 1st and 10, 3:21 to go, ball on the 37-yard line in the first quarter. 7-0 ball game, Notre Dame leads. Howard takes the snap, deep drop, looking left, fires in the flat to G. Scott Jr., sheds a tackle, runs upfield and gets pushed out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. That charge was led by Howard Cross III, the defensive tackle for Notre Dame.
That's good job by Howard. Get that ball out. Felt pressure off the edge that time by R.J. Oben. And G. Scott, the tightrope back, I thought he was going to step out of bounds after a gain of 1, just kept himself in and got an extra couple.
2:50 and counting. Howard in the pistol at the near hash line. Henderson behind him. No Judkins yet. Innes was all alone on the left side. He motions to the right side of the formation. Ekbuka and Smith are out there on that side as well. Howard almost drops the snap. He hands off to Henderson, scampering to the right. Has the corner on the defensive back, but gets wrapped up by Xavier Watts. Pushes him out of bounds at the opposing 39-yard line. Big gain and a first down for Ohio State.
Yeah, great job there by the Buckeyes. Henderson, the big playability, a lot of good blocking on the outside. He was just able to weave his way through and get a big couple. Now Ohio State, they're moving the ball here on their opening drive.
Great run by Henderson. Big hole opened up.
And it was Smith with a great block on the edge as well.
Howard in the shotgun, all alone, empty formation. Ball spotted at the 40 on the right side. Fired out to the right side for Quinshawn Judkins in the flat. Judkins shaking off tacklers and gets all the way up to the 25-yard line and brought down all the way out there for a big first down at the numbers.
That's one way to get Judkins involved with Henderson in the game. They line him up outside on that far side sideline. Quick screen out to him and just let him do the rest.
Buckeyes moving quickly. 50 yards gained on this drive already. Minute 39 to go in quarter number 1. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Howard with Judkins to his right, far hash line. Jeremiah Smith all alone on the right side. He motions Judkins out with Smith. Now Leonard Moore has to make a choice here. And Jeremiah Smith is in motion to the left side, and they pitch it to him. Direct snap, and he gets brought down deep in the backfield by Jordan Clark, the safety son of Ryan Clark, at the 30.
They tried to go shifty that time, a little misdirection, and that didn't work out very well for Ohio State. Direct snap to him, and good job on the outside. Like you said, by Clark. Xavier Watts also there on the side.
Minute to go in the first quarter, 2nd and 15, ball on the 30-yard line on the near hash. 7-0 Fighting Irish. Howard in the shotgun, Quinshawn Judkins, the Ole Miss transfer to his left. G. Scott Jr.'s in motion on the left side. Howard takes the snap, rolls left after the fake handoff, fires downfield to Emeka Egbuka, who runs out of bounds at the 14-yard line. And that's not quite a first down, but it's real close.
Yeah, Howard went through his progressions that time. His initial read was taken away and let Egbuka work back across that field. He's now just 1 catch short of tying KJ Hill's all-time reception record at Ohio State. That's his 200th career reception on that one.
20 seconds to go in quarter number 1, 3rd and 3. Let's see what Chip Kelly dials up here on the ball in the 18, near hash. Quinshawn Judkins on the right side of Will Howard, the Kansas State transfer quarterback. He takes the snap, runs it up the middle himself, and gets tripped up at about the 11-yard line. That moves the chains for the first down and brings us to triple zeros in the first quarter. So we'll be right back after this quick media timeout. Ohio State has it on the 13-yard line as we transition to the second quarter. It's Notre Dame 7, Ohio State 0 in the national championship. And I'll hand the baton to my partner, Connor Canfield, for the play-by-play.
Start of the second quarter here from the national championship in Atlanta, Georgia. Connor Canfield, Connor Schuh here. Notre Dame leads 7-0 over Ohio State. But, Connor, the Buckeyes are driving. They've been moving the ball down the field, and it feels like in this college football playoff, Ohio State on their first drive seems to be unstoppable. They're on the doorstep of their fourth touchdown in 4 games on the opening drive.
They are right now, and Will Howard spreading the ball out in his first 4 passes. He's completed to 4 different receivers, Judkins, Ibuka, Smith, and Scott Jr. And Travion Henderson had a nice 19-yard run that really helped them get on the doorstep of the red zone. They're on the 13 right now, so we'll see if they can complete it like they have so many of those first drives.
We'll have to see what they can do, and that quarter went by like a breeze. From 20 minutes total time from the kickoff to the end of the quarter, thanks to a 9-minute 35 drive out of Fighting Irish on their opening jaunt. Ohio State here, the ball on the 13 going from left to right here in their white jerseys, the gray bottoms, silver helmets, and the heritage stripes on their shoulders. Howard with a tailback behind him. That is Quinshon Judkins. He'll take it on the counter play left, bouncing back to the right, probing forward past the 10-yard line for you. Is lassoed down from behind at the 8-yard line as Quinshon Judkins with a nice chunk there to get the quarter started.
Give it to your power back right there in Quinshon Judkins, and I like the counter play call by Chip Kelly. Get that defense moving in the opposite direction, and it opened Judkins up for a nice 6-yard gain.
They'll put the ball on the 8 of Notre Dame here with 14:30 to go in the second quarter. Howard will break the huddle, disperse his team out to the middle of the field. Bunch formation right side. Judkins still back there behind Howard. G. Scott will motion from left, now back to the right as Howard will take the snap. fake the handoff to Judkins, looking right side, wide open. Jeremiah Smith down to the 10, to the 5. He will skip right in for a touchdown as there's Jeremiah Smith, bringing the Buckeyes 1 point short of tying this game up. And Connor, there was no one within 10 yards of the phenomenal freshman.
No, and before that play, you could see the corner, Christian Gray, jumping around and pointing at Jeremiah Smith before the play. It wasn't his man. He had a different responsibility, but nobody picked Smith up, so he was wide open there in the flat and was able to essentially waltz into the end zone.
John Ferrellman will have the ball at the 8-yard, or should I say the 3-yard line of Notre Dame. We'll snap it back to Joe McGuire, who gets the snap, gives it down. Fielding puts it up and through, and just like that, Ohio State ties the game on an 11-play, 75-yard drive that took 6 minutes and 5 seconds here. That got into the second quarter, and they tied up at 7. We'll take a break here on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Notre Dame looking to respond here on the other side of the break. (7-7), number 8 Ohio State, number 7 Notre Dame tied here from Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in downtown Atlanta. Connor Canfield, Connor Schuh here. And Connor, what a response there by Ohio State, going 11 plays themselves, scoring a touchdown to tie this game up. But really the big question is, Ohio State has to make the adjustment on defense now. What do you got to do to stop Notre Dame, make sure they just can't run the ball down your throat like they did in that first drive?
I think you need a heavier box. Maybe this means bringing in a third linebacker and potentially Arvell Reese, who has been a very sound tackler in his time on the field. He got a lot more time towards the middle of the year and the beginning of the college football playoff. Was playing almost every defensive snap in the Michigan and Tennessee games, and we've seen a lot less of him against Oregon and Texas and now Notre Dame. So I think if you're Ryan Day, maybe you want to get Arvell Reese involved a little more on defense so Jim Knowles can utilize him and just work with a stronger set of bodies.
2 drives to start the game, 29 complied plays for the two teams. Jaden Fielding will put it deep down to the field and over the head of the All-American returner, Jaden Harrison. And into the back of the end zone, Notre Dame will get it out on their 25. And with that, we have another timeout on the field. We'll take a step aside here on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio once again. Still 7-7 here, 14-10 left to go in the second quarter. 14-10 left to go here in quarter number 2 of this College Football National Championship. Connor Canfield, Connor Schuh here on SGSR, the official student radio home of Ohio State Athletics. And Connor, Notre Dame out onto the field. They took up almost 10 minutes on their first drive. 18 plays, 75 yards. They moved the ball at will, a lot of it on the legs of their quarterback, Riley Leonard. He had 9 carries on that opening possession.
For 34 yards and a touchdown as well. The Duke transfer has been really a shot in the arm for this program this year. Him and his leadership and his ability to run the football, especially in between the tackles, we really saw a lot of that. I think he picked up at least 3 first downs on that entire drive, and his legs are such an important part of this offense, especially when you pair him with 2 incredible running backs.
Back there with him, he's got Jadarian Price in the shotgun as Riley Leonard will stand at the 20-yard line. Ball's on the left hash on the 25-yard line. Receivers motions from right to left. That's Bo Collins. As Leonard taking the snap, dropping back, looking right now, looks left, back to the right side, and the overshot his intended receiver. That was Bo Collins on a shallow drag. Davison Igmanosin there in coverage.
And there's the issue for Notre Dame's offense. That was a wide open receiver running that shallow crosser. Bo Collins, a very good receiver at that. And he had complete separation against Davison Igmanosin, and Leonard just threw it right over his head.
It was a good pocket that time for the Irish, but Leonard couldn't hit. He's back in that shotgun once again. Price still back there on his right hip. Tight end Mitchell Evans will motion to the right side. 3 receivers out to that side. Evans will look back to the left. And a flag on the play. It looks like we're going to see a false start on Notre Dame. That'll move the ball 5 yards back. And now you can hear the Ohio State crowd starting to get into it. A lot of Scarlet lining the near side sideline here. Going to be interesting to see if they start to get a little bit of momentum and noise here, whether that could play a factor with the offensive line and Leonard's communication.
I'm sure it's possible, especially when they're on this near side of the field, and near side as in we're sitting right above the Ohio State side of the crowd, and that's the hash line Notre Dame's playing on at the moment.
And on the left hash, 2nd and 15 after the false start. Price is still back there with Mitchell. He's in the shotgun. 2 receivers on either side. Leonard takes a snap, pressured, stepping up in the pocket, dancing away from one side, now rolling left. Another flag thrown. He's got a receiver there, caught on the near side sideline by Bo Collins. It looks like the Clemson transfer, very close to the stick, but a flag in the backfield could potentially move it back again.
And I saw Tyleek Williams, the Ohio State D tackle, motioning for a hold, so we'll see what the call is.
Well, there you have it. Another penalty on Notre Dame, 2nd straight. 15 yards given up in the last 2 plays on penalties. Gonna bring up 2nd and 25 now, I believe. And that's big for Notre Dame because, I mean, this has just been a complete 180 from the first drive. And now they're really backed up. Ball's on the 10-yard line now. Empty set Leonard has. He's standing at his own 5-yard line waiting to take the snap. 3 receivers out to the far side. Price, the near side receiver, will motion back into the backfield on Leonard's right hip. Ohio State showing 4 on the defensive line. Price will get the handoff, working left side, and Sonny Styles will wrap him up from behind after a short gain, and he'll throw him back. A good penetration by that Ohio State defense.
And a run right up the middle on 3rd and 25 might not be the play call you're looking for. Ohio State wrapped that up perfectly. They filled every gap, and the free rusher, Sonny Styles, was able to curl around that left side easily and get in that backfield.
3rd and 23 now for Notre Dame, with 13:15 left to go in the 2nd quarter. Ball's on that left hash still on the 12-yard line. Notre Dame will get the snap. It's Leonard. He'll step up in the pocket, was pressured by Sawyer, now flinging one left side across the 20 before Davison Igmanosin chops down the tight end, Mitchell Evans. And Notre Dame will have to punt. Great response drive by Ohio State that was aided by 15 yards of Notre Dame penalties.
That was helped by a little bit of pressure by Jack Sawyer as well. Came around the right side and forced Riley Leonard to step up, and it was throw that football or get taken down by JT Tuimoloau and Ty Hamilton, who were sitting there right in front of him, ready to break right through that gap.
And the stadium board showed Leonard rip off his helmet in frustration there after that drive went off the rails. James Rendell, the Melbourne, Australia native, will take it, roll to his right side, and boot it end over end. Pretty nice kick. Caleb Downs back there will take a fair catch at the 34 of Ohio State. And we have a late flag also that came down on the field. Looks like Caden Curry is pointing towards it. Now we'll have to see what the call is. It was thrown on the Notre Dame side pretty close to the line of scrimmage, about 10 yards off. Caden Curry was the nearest player to it. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, that was completely away from the play, so perhaps a hold on either side.
I think that's got to be the case.
Yeah. We'll see what it is.
During the kick, holding, CDT, 10-yard penalty, end of the kick, first down.
That's referee Steve Marlowe announcing the holding. Caden Curry the nearest, and he was looking at it. Probably was the one to get hit with it that right there. So I'll move it 10 yards back from the end of the spot. Also, it looked like to be Lorenzo Stiles in the end who got hit with it. Either way, it's a 10-yard penalty on Ohio State. And we'll take a break here on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. 7-7 here from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Ohio State looking to continue their offensive momentum when we return.
Dr. King.
7-7 the score here once again from the second quarter in this college football playoff national championship game. Connor Canfield, Connor Schuh here with you. And a little bit of an update on Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard, thanks to ESPN's Molly McGrath via the great SGSR statistician Tyler Danburg. Riley Leonard was seen for that first drive. He was throwing up on the sideline, so that's something to monitor. Obviously, he ran a lot in Notre Dame's first drive, and obviously, if he's not at 100%, that could certainly take away a little bit of his running ability. That's going to be one to monitor as we progress throughout this game.
And we saw him come out of the Penn State game for Steve Angeli, and he was able to throw 7 passes, and he went 6 of 7 in Leonard's place. So if he has to go, they have a solid backup option, but obviously we'd like to see Riley Leonard healthy. He was in that concussion protocol last game, so we'll see what happens on next drive. Ohio State's got it now.
They'll start after the penalty on that holding by Lorenzo Stiles, the gunner on the punt team. They started on their own 24-yard line with 12:21 to go in this second quarter. They're tied with Notre Dame 7-7. As Howard will be under center to start this one, about the middle of the field on that 20-25 paint job in the middle. And they'll take the snap. Jet sweep given to Emeka Ibuka, working right side down to the 30, 35 before he is yanked down from behind by the middle linebacker Jack Kaiser. And Drake Bowen as well was there on the stop. That's going to move the chains. A nice run by Emeka Ibuka.
His most known trait, I think, is his route running, but Ibuka showing off his speed. He's a guy who you really have to watch out for on those jet sweeps, him and Jeremiah Smith. So that's always a tough secondary thing to keep in the back of your mind as a defense. Bunch
formation left side. Howard still under center. Travion Henderson back there behind him. The fake to give them. Howard looking right side, lofting it towards the sideline. Carnell Tate's got it across the 50-yard line before he runs out of bounds, just short of the 45 of Notre Dame. That will once again move the 6. Great touch on that pass by Will Howard.
Beautiful route, too, by Carnell Tate. Just beats his defender to the sideline, Christian Gray, and Will Howard, beautiful ball, layering it over the top of the linebacker, junior Tui Alamaka, and got it right to that sideline for a first.
Will Howard looked like me playing NCAA football 25 this whole weekend in the media room. Great throw, gets the Buckeyes into Notre Dame territory. Ball's at their 48. Pistol formation for the Buckeyes. Howard lassos the snap, gives Henderson behind him, dancing away from one tackler, trying to plunge his way to the 45, and he stopped at the 46 of Notre Dame after a 2-yard gain. Gang of Notre Dame tacklers in there. Xavier Watts among one of them.
Henderson got the most he could out of that run. It seemed like Notre Dame had that stopped from the jump, and the majority of those Ohio State offensive linemen really just got beat on that play.
2nd and 8 for Ohio State. Ball is in the middle of the field at that CFP logo on the 46-yard line of Notre Dame. 10.5 to play in the second quarter. 7-7 Ohio State and Notre Dame tied. Howard rolling right side, firing. There's a Emeka Egbuka trying to turn away from one tackler before he is knocked down behind by Jordan Clark, and that's a historic catch there for Emeka Egbuka. 201 career receptions, ties him with KJ Hill atop the leaderboard there in that category for Ohio State.
KJ Hill, what a player for Ohio State. All Ohio State fans, I'm sure, remember him fondly from his time with the program, and now with one more catch, Emeka Egbuka gets that torch.
3rd and 5 after a 3-yard gain that time for Ohio State. Now Henderson will be motioned outside, empty set for Will Howard. 3 receivers out to the far side, 2 to the near side, flanked by Jeremiah Smith. Howard looking right side, now steps up, looking left, and he will step up and run. He's got some green grass. Diving towards the 30-yard line, way enough for a first down. He has given the 32-yard line of Notre Dame, and the legs of Will Howard moves the sticks once again for the Buckeyes.
That first read, or all the reads he made were to that right side of the field initially. Everyone covered up. Brandon Innes, Carnell Tate, and Jeremiah Smith far on the right side, and even the receivers on the left. There was nobody really open, and before he got to those progressions, he saw a lot of green grass in front of him and took off accordingly.
Christian Gray credited with a tackle. Ohio State's moving the ball once again. 1st and 10 at the Notre Dame 32. Ball's on the left hash. Howard looking right side. He's got a man wide open. There's Emeka Egbuka down the 25, lowering the shoulder before he is popped out of bounds by Bowen. But that gets a big, healthy appreciation from the Ohio State crowd as Egbuka showing the toughness, and he is now atop that reception list. 202 career receptions. That's first all time.
What a way to cap it off with just leveling the defender, Christian Gray. Dips that left shoulder and just knocked him clean over before Drake Bowen gave him the same treatment to get him out of bounds.
It's a gain of 12 yards as Ohio State's got it down to the 20-yard line. Will Howard has started the game 8 for 8. He's got Judkins back there in the backfield with him in the shotgun. Ball's on the right hash, and we're going to see a whistle and a timeout taken by Ryan Day in the Buckeyes. As a play clock was running out, and they want to make sure they didn't get a delay of game penalty. And we'll have a timeout on the field once again. 8:20 left to go in this second quarter. Ohio State and Notre Dame tied at 7 apiece, but Ohio State is driving and threatening to score. We'll see what they can do when we return. 7-7 Ohio State and Notre Dame tied here in this national championship game in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia, here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Alongside Connor Schuh, I'm Connor Canfield, and Connor, Ohio State's driving here. Will Howard has started out 8 of 8 through the air, 76 yards and a touchdown. And this running attack hasn't been too shabby either, in Ohio State chance to grab some momentum back and take their first lead of the game here.
Sitting around that 20-yard line, and how about Will Howard? 8 for 8 for 76 yards and a touchdown. He's rushed for 16. An incredible day for him, and all doing it with the power of Archie Griffin, the honorary captain today for the Buckeyes. I'm sure that gives the team a little bit of extra juice. And Jim Tressel here as well, legendary coach for the Buckeyes. They're really showing out.
Cardell Jones, Urban Meyer on the Ohio State side. Joe Montana's here for Notre Dame. Jerome Bettis, Lou Holtz is in the building. A lot of star power here in Atlanta tonight. Ohio State will start this timeout on the 20-yard line. Ball's on that right hash of Notre Dame. Will Kazmarek, extra blocker in there for Ohio State. Pistol look for the Buckeyes with Quinshon Judkins behind Will Howard. Howard will get the snap, handing Judkins. He's working right side, lowers the shoulder at the 20, diving forward to the 18. He's knocked it down after a gain of 2. There to set up 2nd and 8.
Short gain for Judkins, but it's not a bad idea for Ohio State, just breaking down that Notre Dame defense bit by bit, and that's kind of the game plan for the Fighting Irish on their offensive side. But Ohio State can really do that with a bruiser like Judkins in their backfield.
Freshman Bryce Young was there on the stop, off that edge for Notre Dame. Empty set for Will Howard with the ball on the 18-yard line. Quinshon Judkins will motion, fakes the jet sweep. Howard looking right side, lofting it towards the 10-yard line. Abuka is there, and he's slung down that time by the nickelback Jordan Clark. Gain of about 6 will bring up 3rd and 2.
Another quick play to Emeka Egbuka. He's been targeted a lot here tonight, already his 4th grab, so maybe the focal point of this game plan with Jeremiah Smith getting covered like he is. It's man coverage, but you can tell they're shadowing with an extra safety most of the time here.
Oh, Smith's got 1 touchdown, a couple of receptions, but Abuka has been the early receiver so far. 4 catches, 33 yards. 3rd and 2 for Ohio State, 7:05 left to play in the 2nd quarter. Ball's on the right hash. As Howard will take it, muscle his way forward up that left hole. Austin Sarabell leading the way for another Ohio State first down as Will Howard lowers that shoulder across the sticks.
Standing tall, he ran right through that O-line, and Austin Sarabell did a great job pulling to that left side to eliminate Jack Kaiser to really spring that run open and get him that first down, essentially.
Brings up 1st and goal for Ohio State. They've now crossed the 10. Ball's on the Notre Dame 9-yard line here with 6.5 left to play in this first half. 1 receiver on either side of the formation, a couple of extra tight ends in there. Howard on the pistol with Judkins. Will take the low snap, giving Judkins working left side. Stiff arm puts 1 defender down, knifing his way forward, lunging for the end zone. Did he get it? What's the signal? Touchdown, Ohio State, as Quinshon Judkins from 9 yards out muscles his way with grit and determination into the end zone and gives Ohio State their first lead of the game with 6:15 left to go in the 2nd quarter.
Great vision, and he planted Jaden Osbury on that first cut to the left side and navigated through those defenders and barely kept that knee off the ground as he extended the ball over the goal line. That was real close. We're looking at the replay right now, and his knee was barely, just inches above the turf, but a touchdown is a touchdown.
All the officiating crews gathered in the middle, but now the sideline will say play on. Looks like they took a look at it upstairs already, and it will be a touchdown for Quinshon Judkins. 10 plays, 76 yards, 6:06 to give the Buckeyes a 13-7 lead. Jaden Fielding out to attempt the extra point. John Furlman in the middle will unfurl the snap to McGuire, and Fielding drives it right through into that sea of green behind the Notre Dame end zone. 14-7 Ohio State with 6:15 should I say, left in the 2nd quarter. Buckeyes lead for the first time tonight thanks to a Quinshon Judkins 9-yard touchdown. We'll step aside here on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. 6:15 till we hit the halftime break from Mercedes-Benz Stadium as Ohio State leads 14-7, 14 unanswered for the Buckeyes after that opening drive touchdown for Notre Dame. Connor, I mean, it's been pretty perfect offensively for Ohio State. They haven't been hit with a penalty on offense. Will Howard has started 9 for 9. They're running the ball pretty well. You can't ask for a much better start if you're Ryan Day and Chip Kelly.
Hey, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. I think I'd have to agree with you. There's not really a better way this could have gone, and there were some worries giving the ball up to Notre Dame first, but they were quickly quelled by those 2 touchdown drives, like you said, and definitely benefited from a broken coverage on the first one to Jeremiah Smith. But Ohio State's offense is just so good that things like that are going to happen, but you think they find a way to score anyway, just like they did on that second drive with the Quinshon Judkins plunge for the score.
Jaden Fielding will be out to kick the ball away to the dangerous return man, Jaden Harrison for Notre Dame. Fielding will drive it down the left side of the field. Harrison will let it go over his head, bounce on the R in the Notre Dame end zone, and in for a touchback. 25, the ball will go on, and here comes Riley Leonard in the Notre Dame offense. It was a tale of 2 drives for them. They went 18 plays over 9 minutes. A ball taken away in the first quarter to go down the field for 7, and then on the second drive, it was 3 and out with a couple of penalties in between.
And LeBron James is here. I think that really completes the Ohio State celebrity list, even though he never went to the school or went to college.
He pretty much was as good as a Buckeye. I think that's where he would have went had he decided to go into the collegiate ranks. Leonard will take the snap. He'll go right up the middle. QB draw. He is spun down by, it looks like, Tyreek Williams down at the 30-yard line, gain of 5, and that's what really worked in that first drive there, Connor. The QB carry was really able to muscle Notre Dame forward. That's now 10 carries in this game for Riley Leonard for 39 yards.
And they have such good blocking on the interior, especially the center, Pat Coogan, and the left guard, Billy Schrouth, who really paved the way there.
Leonard's in the shotgun with Jeremiah Love back there on his left hip. Motions the receiver out to the tight side of the formation on the right. He'll take the snap, drop back, looking left, now looks right, flushed out of the pocket, and he almost went down as JT Tuimoloau got there and slung him down, and I think they're going to say he got it out. Ohio State's arguing that Riley Leonard's knee was down, but for now it's 3rd and 5.
At least from our view, it looked like Riley Leonard got that football out, like you said, and that's incredible pressure, though, from JTT, able to just get a wrap around that right leg, and he just totally dominated the left tackle, Charles Jagusa, and that's a big storyline. So they're missing Anthony Knapp, the freshman tackle who's been so good this year, and now you see Jagusa struggling.
3rd and 5, balls on the left hash, the 30-yard line for Notre Dame. 3 receivers out to the far side. Evans, the tight end, will motion across the formation. Leonard dropped the snap. Evans picks it up, and he'll just have to go down after nearly a loss of 5, as maybe a miscommunication between Coogan, the center, and Leonard, the quarterback. And Notre Dame 3 and out once again. They'll have to punt it away after the drop snap.
Just bad timing on that snap by Pat Coogan. Mitchell Evans, the tight end in motion, was coming right across the face of Riley Leonard as that ball was snapped, and it went right into his hands like it was going to be a direct snap, but it was clearly intended for Leonard, and you can see the disdain on his face after that play. Not happy.
James Rendell, the Aussie punter, will boot it down the left side. Brendan Innes is back there, backpedaling the field near the 25, turning left, and great punt coverage that time for the Fighting Irish as Innes wasn't able to get this any yards. That's Jordan Faison, the wide receiver, who went and slung him down, and great punt coverage that time by Notre Dame.
Don't often see one of your top receivers get down there in punt coverage and make a play like that. That was a great form tackle.
That it was, and that's a loss on the return. 51-yard punt that time by Rendell. What a boom that time. You're listening to Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio here. 4:53 left to go in this national championship game. Ohio State leads 14-7 over Notre Dame, and they're looking to go perfect once again. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns for the Buckeyes. Can they make it 3 for 3? They'll start the ball on the 20-yard line. Will Howard's in the shotgun with Travion Henderson on his left hip. Motions to the receiver. Howard gets the snap. Tunnel screen out right side as Jeremiah Smith got it. Wiggles his way towards the 20, and he was dragged right down that time by the nickelback. As Jordan Clark made the stop there.
Clark, such a versatile player on that offense, dove in there and got to the left leg of Jeremiah Smith and slammed him down before he could really gain many yards.
Jeremiah Smith's been relatively quiet outside of the touchdown. 3 catches, 17 yards, and of course, the 8-yard score. Howard back there in the shotgun once again. Just over 4 minutes left to play. Speed option right side. Henderson takes the pitch. Knifing across the 20, trying to get towards the 25-yard line, and he didn't get much as he was run out of bounds that time by Drake Bowen, who's letting him know. Henderson right back in his face, and they both were able to get separated and running back to their respective huddles.
They say he gained a yard on that one, and that's a testament to Henderson's speed and power, able to even get anything on that run where Bowen, the sophomore linebacker, had him absolutely squared up on the tackle.
3rd and 7 for Ohio State with 3:40 left to go in this first half. Notre Dame fans getting loud, waving the green rally towels on their side of the field. As Howard, with 4 receivers out there, will take the snap, dropping back, looking left. He's got a man, that's Tate at the 30, down to the 35 before he is run out of bounds across the 40. As there's Carnell Tate on a little out route that time. And it moves the chains once again. Looks like Jalen Sneed, the rover, that time ran him out of bounds.
And that was a great route to that left side by Innes, the sophomore receiver, and Tope got wide open on that throw. Rod Hurd second, the transfer DB from Northwestern was there, but just didn't really have the foot speed to keep up with him.
Appreciate you being my eyes, Connor. That was Innes. His 13th reception this season. Carnell Tate was in the vicinity blocking for Innes that time. 2:50 left to go, 1st and 10, Ohio State. Howard fakes the snap, stepping up in the pocket. He's pressured and down he goes. Sacked that time for the Fighting Irish as Donovan Heinisch got him that time behind the line.
He was all over that. Howard wanted to bail out quickly, it looked like, and ran right up the middle, but Heinisch did a good job of working off Carson Hinsman and eventually creating the pressure necessary for Howard to get dropped.
2:24 here in this first half. Ohio State does have to snap the ball. About a 3-second difference between play and game clock, with the play clock being the one in the smaller denomination. There's 9 on the play clock, 2:10 to go in the second quarter. 3 receivers for Ohio State. Howard pitches it right side. There's Henderson trying to get to the 45, lowers the shoulder, and there he goes across the 40 line. Medium game will bring up 3rd and short. Ornery return here from this 2-minute timeout. 14-7 Ohio State leads, trying to add some points here before the half, but they face a big 3rd down when they return. 2 minutes to go in this first half. Ohio State, the number 8 seed, leaving the 7th seeded Notre Dame, Fighting Irish 14-7. And they're on the move once again. Canfield, Schuh here with you. Ohio State moving, but they face a big third down. 3rd and 7 coming up here after we resume play. I mean, this is one of the bigger plays of the game so far. It'd be huge for Notre Dame if they're able to get off the field for the first time tonight.
It certainly would be, and that's almost necessary at this point because it feels like Ohio State has been moving the ball at will until this drive, and Notre Dame's defense is starting to buckle down a little bit. They have a lot of really stout and strong tacklers, and they've been showing that off, especially Drake Bowen. We've seen he's got a handful of tackles. Xavier Watts has looked good in the defensive backfield as well at his safety position. So we'll see what happens on this 3rd and 7. Ohio State's going to have to throw this football, and we'll see if Notre Dame and their man coverage is ready for it.
We'll have to see. Big play coming up. 3rd and 7. Ohio State has it at their own 45-yard line here with 2 minutes to go. Ohio State, they're perfect, 2 for 2 so far to begin this game in terms of touchdowns on their drives. Trying to make it 3 for 3. Well, this is their biggest test we've seen tonight. Will Howard's 11 for 11. He's empty back there, and now we'll bring Travion Henderson into the backfield with him. He's on the left, now the right hip of Howard. 3 receivers out to the far side. G. Scott Jr., the lone receiver, to the near side. As Howard will take the snap, stepping up the pocket, firing over the middle, sliding catches made by Carnell Tate right at the 35 of Notre Dame. Great throw by Howard, and even better catch there by Tate.
They had their number 2 corner, Christian Gray, on him, and he shadowed him really well, was all over it, but Howard placed it perfectly, and Tate got skinny under the arms of Gray and was able to haul that one in close to the ground. Great throw, great reception by the sophomore.
Will Howard, after that big throw, he's now 12 for 12. Here and looking to keep this drive going. Minute 35 left to go. Buckeyes driving once again. Howard will get the snap. Dropping back, stepping up in the pocket, now rolling left. He's trying to run, and a nice tackle from behind made that time. It looks like one of the defensive linemen there for Notre Dame. Logan Thomas making the stop. Looks like we have an injured player on the field. That's actually a timeout on Notre Dame regardless. So they'll take their first timeout. That's Thomas, the freshman, with the big stop that time. That's going to go down as a sack there for Notre Dame. They're second this half.
That's on me. I think I misled you. That was Josh Barnum, actually number 40, the edge rusher, and he plays that Viper position, which is that stand-up defensive end edge rusher traditional position there, like your Von Millers or TJ Watts of the world. And only a couple of sacks for him this year, but he gets a whole lot of pressure, and he's really hard to stop off the edge.
That he is. Now his first sack, it looks like, this season, but certainly brings the pressure. 4.5 tackles for loss coming to this one. Former Gatorade Player of the Year in Michigan back in 2021, so he certainly brings the pressure off the edge, and a big sack that time gives some momentum back to Notre Dame. 1:25 after the Notre Dame timeout. They're trying to get the ball back here, burn these timeouts to try to get one more shot. Ohio State looking to make that all for naught. Ball's on the left hash, that Notre Dame 38-yard line. Howard looking right side. Jeremiah Smith wide open, makes a nice adjustment at the 30, down to the 25, lowering the shoulder towards the 20, and he's run out of bounds. Another first down. There's Jeremiah Smith getting wide open that time, working on Christian Gray.
Throw was a little bit early, but Jeremiah Smith was able to stop on the dime and come back to that football, leaving Christian Gray far, far away from where that pass was completed. What a great route by the freshman.
And a 15 puts Smith up to 4 catches, 32 yards, and a touchdown here in this first half, and he'll move to 6 once again. Ohio State with the ball on the right hash at the Notre Dame 23-yard line. Minute 19, still plenty of time here to punch this ball in. Howard's got a tailback back there in the shotgun. It's Henderson. He'll take the snap. Looking left side. He's got Henderson one-on-one. What a catch made! Henderson was plastered and then dropped it at the last second as Xavier Watts was able to get a last-second hand in there and punch that away, as that was nearly a perfect ball by Will Howard. Now go down as his first incompletion here tonight.
And Henderson even high-fived Watts at the end of that play. Henderson had wrestled it away from Watts. Both of them had their hands on it until the very last second as that ball hit the ground. Nobody caught that one. Eventually, And I caught a note up there on the screen. Will Howard was 13 for 13, most straight completions in a championship game.
So a little bit of a historic start for Howard. That one was snapped, like you said, at 13. 2nd and 10 now for Ohio State. $1:12 left to go in this first half. Howard stepping away from the pressure, running right side, 20, 15, following a lead blocker before he is knocked down at the 12-yard line as Will Howard with a big run. Kingston Villamassa with the stop.
Big run for him, and Will Howard has been more of a willing runner today in the scramble drill more than ever. He's had some big ones.
He'll take the snap, giving up the middle. Henderson dancing behind one blocker to the 10. Stiff arm trying to put the hand on the ground and stay out before he is run down at the 6-yard line. Watts there on the stop. And Ohio State, another big run. About 6, we'll bring up 2nd and 4. Ohio State, one interesting thing to note here. That last play got them just short of the 10, so they do have another chance to get a fresh set of downs here with that first down marker being at the 3. It's almost goal to go, but not just quite. Howard taking it, lofting it left side, but a whistle will stop this play before it can happen. Flag on the far side. We'll see what the call is, should I say.
Flag was thrown near Jeremiah Smith and Christian Gray.
I think you can hear Ryan Day through our Nat mics here said he was calling timeout, yelling down the sideline. You can see it on the ESPN feed up here as well. He was adamant, and there was a timeout granted. That's a 2nd for Ohio State, so Ryan Day, he was begging for it, and he got it in the end.
There's only 30 seconds left, so you can understand wanting to look this over before you get too deep into this end of the drive situation. 3rd and 4, or 2nd and 4 since the timeout was called this close to the end zone. It's a big, big play.
I think, Connor, big thing is here with the ability to get one more first down and still have a timeout. 30 seconds, decent amount of time here inside the 10. I think you could put the ball on the ground if you really wanted to, with the clock stopping if you do get that first down so they can move the chains. I don't think you have to pass necessarily.
Absolutely, and with how, well, you could go either way with Henderson or Judkins, both of them at exactly 5.3 yards per carry, and obviously we know about Will Howard's rushing prowess, and he's got 26 on the ground. Any of those three could get the ball on this play. I'm confident in anything could happen.
They end up putting 3 seconds back on the clock, 33 seconds officially on the game clock here on the 2nd and 4 for Ohio State. They've got that ball on the right hash. It's on the Notre Dame 6. The men in navy and gold trying to stand up to this silver and gray attack here. Howard back there with Judkins. He'll take the snap. Low snap was picked up. Stepping up in the pocket, looking to pass. Throwing it back across his body. Wide open is Quinshawn Judkins. He had no one within 20 miles of him, and it's 20-7 Ohio State.
What a job by Quinshawn Judkins to get open, break off his route where he was just sitting there in the flat near the goal line, but he found a way after Will Howard really had no other option and was able to cut through the two linebackers in the middle of the field, and he found a wide open area in the middle of that end zone. Will Howard recognized it and made the easy toss over.
They say you should never throw back across the middle as a quarterback. When you're that wide open, I don't see why you shouldn't. Jaden Fielding on to attempt his 3rd extra point of the game, and he bullies it right through. 21-7 Ohio State with 27 left to go in this first half of play. Another long drive for the Buckeyes. 12 plays, 80 yards, 4.5 minutes that time. And like I said, 27 seconds here. Notre Dame, Connor, not a lot of time to get something going, but they do still have 2 timeouts, so it'll be interesting to see what the Fighting Irish do here on this next drive.
Whatever it is, it's not going to be easy. 27 seconds, like you said, and they're such a run-heavy football team, and you can hear those roars from the crowd. LeBron James is being shown on the big screen. He's showing off his Ohio State cap, and I'm sure those Buckeye fans love to see that.
I got a pretty big ovation from the Scarlet and Gray contingency in the crowd. And he's so far liking what he's seen so far of the Buckeyes up by a couple of scores here late in this first half. Jaden Fielding on to send this one down the field. They haven't given the All-American return man Harrison a chance at returning it, and that will stay the same as it's right through the back of the end zone once again. And here comes Riley Leonard and the Fighting Irish. Interesting to see here, Connor. Does Marcus Freeman want to roll the dice and try to get some points here? Not a lot of time, but they do have the 2 timeouts. We'll have to see what Notre Dame does.
It's going to be tough, and I personally don't think they do. Riley Leonard, solid quarterback, but the arm strength is not really the strength for Leonard, the senior, so I don't know if they want to risk it because he's a solid passer, but driving the ball down the field is not necessarily his strong point, so we'll see what they do. They're going to run a play.
Shotgun formation, Love's back there with Leonard. A couple receivers, a quick screen. That's Collins, a Clemson transfer who gets across the 30, run down from behind by JT Tuimoloau. 19 seconds and ticking. It looks like they try to get a quick completion and see what Collins can do, and Marcus Freeman might just let this clock run out the rest of the half. And he looks to be indeed doing that. He's taken off the headset. Notre Dame looking towards their sideline, and I think they're going to let this run out. That's indeed what they're going to do. And here come the Buckeyes. They explode off the sideline, waving the arms up and down, getting the Ohio State contingency in it. And Notre Dame just jogging with the heads down back into the locker room. A lot of work to do for the Fighting Irish. It's 21-7 here at the break from Atlanta.
Just what a half from Ohio State, bouncing back after the opening drive touchdown. It took almost 10 minutes to complete from Notre Dame, and Ohio State just executing in all facets after that. They have turned this game on its head. And Notre Dame, a run-heavy team, it's going to be tough for them to play from behind, but we'll see what happens.
We'll take a break here on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Don't go anywhere. Myself and Connor, we have the halftime report in a few minutes. Ohio State leading 21-7 here at halftime.
It's halftime here at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, here with Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Connor Canfield alongside me, Connor Schuh. Ohio State leads 21-7 in the national title game. Notre Dame opened it up with a 18-yard, 75-yard scoring drive. Then Riley Leonard rushing touchdown, and then Ohio State answered with 21 straight. Will Howard is 14 of 15 for a $144 and 2 touchdowns. Travion Henderson has 37 yards on 7 carries, and things are really trending in Ohio State's direction at this moment, Connor.
That they are. I mean, it seems like Ohio State's been unstoppable. 233 total yards, 93 for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I mean, Ohio State's been perfect through their first 3 drives. Outside of that first drive for Notre Dame, it's been downhill, 2 3 and out since then. Really need an answer. Like you said, Riley Leonard, just 46 yards through the air, averaging as a team 3.7 yards per play. I mean, you need an adjustment on offense here if you're Notre Dame.
You certainly do, and Riley Leonard is 5 for 9 for 46 yards and no scores, and he had a great drive with his legs on that first one, had about roughly 37 yards on that drive alone on the ground, and was huge, just running straight up the middle on those QB draws. And I think before we go any further, we have to address the elephant in the room. Travis Scott is currently performing on the roof of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. For those who know who Travis Scott is, very, very popular rapper today, and very, very well known, and people are going nuts accordingly for this performance, which is pretty incredible. He's up there with a whole band on the roof of the stadium. But back to the game. Notre Dame held to 2.9 yards per carry, and that number has been slashed since that first drive. They were hovering around about 5 yards a carry, but just nothing since then. Only a couple of first downs here and there for the Fighting Irish, but it seems like Ohio State has found something that has neutralized Notre Dame's current game plan, Connor.
Well, they took away the Riley Leonard carry. Riley Leonard rushed for 9 carries, 34 yards in that first drive. After that, he's only carried the ball 1 time for just 5 yards. They have taken it out, made him throw the ball, pitched the ball to Bryce, pitched the ball to Jeremiah Love, and they haven't been able to get that running in going. So that was really the big part. Ohio State, they defend the run really well, and Notre Dame has shown accordingly why it's so hard to run on Ohio, or so hard to run against Ohio State after that first drive.
One of the best teams in stopping the run in the nation all year, thanks to guys like Cody Simon, who has 3 tackles, Caleb Downs, who has 3 tackles himself. No big sacks or forced fumbles that have really thrown a wrench into things for Notre Dame. Just good, solid defense and plugging up holes on the defensive line. You have to give credit to guys like Tyleek Williams and Ty Hamilton, and guys like Edric Houston and Caden McDonald, backup D tackles, coming in and making some really crucial plays, both of them underclassmen with this team and probable starters next year at the 2 defensive tackle spots for Ohio State. They've been doing great things.
That they have indeed, and I mean, you mentioned it. Future starters, but just to be able to get this experience this year, that's going to be so huge for Ohio State in the future, but in the present, bringing an impact here so far. Edric Houston's got a tackle. Kenyatta Jackson's got a tackle here in this one. Caden McDonald has shown some promise this season. He's also got a tackle. A lot of guys have been rotational here in this playoff, and it's allowed Ohio State to stay fresh on that defensive line, and the guys who have been in the rotation, they've been providing impact.
And on the Notre Dame side, you got to give a shout out to Josh Burnham, the edge defender, Viper as they call it in the Notre Dame Al Golden defense. 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss for him today, and a big shoestring tackle on Will Howard on a run that could have potentially gone for much more than it did. There was no gain on that play, but he's played a heck of a 2 quarters so far for Notre Dame, but it's going to take much more than him in this second half of football. We've got about 3.5 minutes left till the second half. So Connor, I ask you, what's one thing that Notre Dame needs to do right to turn this game around?
They got to take away the pass. I feel like right now, Ohio State, they're just getting what they want through the air. Obviously, Will Howard, he started 13 of 13 before throwing an incompletion. You got to take the momentum and air away from Howard to make Ohio State run the ball a little bit more here if you want to get back into this one.
7. Ohio State leads going into the second half of play. In 3 minutes, it's Austin Crume and Tyler Danburg on the call. Us all here for the last time this season. And Connor Canfield and I, this is our last time talking to you during a football game this season. So it's been a really fun ride.
That it has indeed.
It certainly has, and we appreciate everybody listening back home. So for us, we sign off, and we will hand it off to our talented teammates in Austin Crume and Tyler Danburg here in a moment.
Under a minute until the start of the third quarter here at the National Championship in Atlanta. Ohio State 21, Notre Dame 7. He's Tyler Danburg, I'm Austin Crume. Thank you for joining us first off here on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. But partner, a lot of people know the intensity of this matchup, the rivalry of the two teams, the Golden Domes and the Silver Bullets. As they line up here in Atlanta, down by 2 touchdowns if you're Notre Dame, and Ohio State, you defer, you get it on offense now, and now you got to be ready to strike again on the offensive side.
It's a 2-score game, but it feels like a lot larger of a margin because Notre Dame's ground game is their identity, but they're 162nd in passing offense. This is a tough situation for them because Ohio State, at the end of this possession, could be up by 3 touchdowns. They're 3 for 3 so far offensively, and Notre Dame has trouble catching up. So this is going to be a big possession for Notre Dame defensively to try and make this stop.
James Rendell and the rest of the Fighting Irish kicking left to right in their navy tops, gold bottoms, gold domes as well. Last names in the back, only a playoff thing. We're only going to hear that once and see it here in the National Championship. Ohio State in their white tops, silver bullets, helmets, and gray bottoms. Again, Henderson back at the line. Away at the 1-yard line. Here comes the punter. James Rendell kicks end over end, barreling the high kick to the 5-yard line. Actually, Temeke Buka has it at a fair catch. And Will Howard's going to come out right at the 25 to start the first 15 of the second half.
Well, Will Howard started 13 for 13. That is a bowl championship record. But look out for Quinshon Judkins, who has 2 touchdowns, and Travion Henderson, who's paved the way for 37. Ohio State trying to establish the ground game. You're starting to keep in mind the time of possession here.
Henderson now over 1,000 yards on the season. The second time he's done that in his Ohio State career. So here comes Howard. First and 10 on the 25, moving right to left. Got 3 receivers on the right, single man to his left. It's his hit man, Quinshon Judkins. Here he goes, one high safety for Notre Dame. Howard has the snap, drops back 5 yards to the 15, dots over the middle. It's incomplete. The intended target was Jeremiah Smith. Leonard Moore dove and got the hand in there.
And that's what the FWAA Freshman Defensive Player of the Year will do to you. Now, what Notre Dame has done really since Ohio State's first touchdown drive, they brought in extra man. That time it was Jack Kaiser wreaking havoc, and they've been able to overload that box.
G. Scott comes out, Will Kazmarek comes in. You see that? Does that tell you it's a potential run play? For the looks of it, it will be. So 2nd and 10, 14:56 to go for Howard, who's under center. Judkins 5-yard behind him. Mike Puka in motion. It's a handoff. Judkins powers right. Has an open field at the 40. Now the 50. He's wide open all the way. Flipping the sides of the field to the 20-25 logo. 20, 10, all the way at the 5-yard line. A massive run for Quinshon Judkins. And the Buckeyes are in the red zone quickly. Have a day, Q. 70 yards on the tote.
And this is all Tegra Shabola and Josh Fryer paving the way. It's a counter run. So Judkins starts left, then he zigzags right, and he careens all the way back down the left sideline. You said it, partner. He could be the X factor coming into this one. He had a great Peach Bowl last year. I'm sure you're going to touch on that more as this game goes on.
I mean, you talk about it. We'll get to it in a minute. The Buckeyes are in a very precarious spot on how they want to keep on running this. You hear the whistles flying down on the field. Timeout, Ohio State. Very interesting how early the call is. It's only been 57 seconds, so it's 21-7 Ohio State. 14:03 to go in the third quarter. You just had a 70-yard run from Quinshon Judkins. And now that we have the time, I might as well talk about it. Last time he was here, Quinshon Judkins, he was a member of the Ole Miss Rebels, playing against Penn State, the Nittany Lions, in the Peach Bowl. Last year, not a playoff game. Judkins had 34 carries, which you're not going to see from him anymore. 106 yards, 1 reception, and it was a reception touchdown of 14 yards.
And now Quinshon Judkins is over the 40 yards that he needed to have another 1,000-yard season. To put that into perspective, he's just the 6th running back in college football since 2015 to have 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons to open his career.
Buckeyes have 2 main backs with 1,000 yards as well on the ground, along with Travion Henderson. Judkins now standing left side hash. Buckeyes moving 1st and 5 in the red zone. Howard under center. Gives to Judkins again, moving right outside the guard. Now cuts back in. Gets inside the 5-yard line and gang tackled by the front of the Fighting Irish.
And they just keep trying to sled in Quinshon Judkins there. And Ohio State seems to have found that offensive line combination. Luke Montgomery has not missed a snap the last 2 games. Austin Sareveld was banged up. He was ready to go for this game, but with the way Montgomery's been playing, it's kept him out there.
2 receivers right, 2 tight ends on the left side as well, so it's a potential run package with Henderson right behind Howard, who's in pistol. Gets a snap, Howard's gonna run it himself left. Open room, gets hit in the legs, gets down to the 2-yard line. Gets super close to the line, and Adon Schuler is the only reason Will Howard doesn't have 6 more.
Yeah, Schuler was the last line of defense. He was acting as a quasi-linebacker there. Notre Dame stacked up 4 in the middle, and they've gone heavy quarterback design runs. That was a QB rat play from Howard.
Partner, Buckeyes are in 13 personnel with Judkins, and the fullback right behind him, and Pat Gerd, but they're going to give to Judkins again, and he crosses the line for another touchdown. His 2nd on the ground and 3rd of the day in the national championship. Q is on a burner.
Well, there's something about Ohio State running backs in the national championship of the college football playoff. Ezekiel Elliott, who can forget, 246 yards in 2015. 10 years later, Quinshon Judkins accounts for 71 of the 75 yards on this Ohio State drive, and a 70-yard burst before a 1-yard plunge.
5 plays, 75 yards, 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Buckeyes 27, Notre Dame 7. Jaden Fielding out for the extra point. Long snapper John Froman, holder Joe McGuire. They're kicking into the Ohio State painted end zone. The boot from the Texas native goes through the uprights right downtown. And it is 28-7 Ohio State with 12:46 to go in the third quarter. We'll step aside here in Atlanta. Buckeyes up 28-7 in the national championship. About 40 seconds until we're out of the TV timeout. He's Tyler Danburg. I'm Austin Crume. We're at this point in the season here, partner, where everybody is playing on their last legs. Ohio State, you're 13-2. Notre Dame, you're 14-1. Of course, this is somewhat unparalleled for college. You're playing as many games as you possibly can. Some of these guys are out here tired. Some of them are out there, somewhat done and dusted for what would have been a regular season, and now they're putting it all on the line on the final game.
And it's a great simulation for what an NFL full season looks like. Many of these guys are going to go on to successful professional careers. It's hard to find two programs that produce more NFL talent like Ohio State and Notre Dame. And also, too, you've got a lot of coaches that have experienced this. Ryan Day experienced that in the NFL. Al Golden, the Notre Dame defensive coordinator, experienced that 2 seasons ago.
He could get some looks for some NFL DC jobs, fielding bombs at end over end, right to left, into the painted Ohio State end zone, right in the middle of the H. Jaden Harrison chucks out the wings. It'll go to the 25 for Riley Leonard and co. It's a big drive here for Notre Dame, and mainly because we've gotten to this point in the game, partner, where you and I have watched, and of course you guys at home. Leonard has had difficulty being able to throw the ball, and when he's run, he's gang tackled by the Ohio State front line.
He's got 10 carries. That's the most by far among any player in this game, and you can tell his stamina is wearing down.
Here's Leonard in shotgun, man next to him, the All-American Jeremiah Love. Man in motion, Bo Collins to the left. Here's Leonard. He's going to have to throw in a pocket that collapses. He chucks right, incomplete. Was under pressure. His intended target was Jaden Greathouse, who had 7 receptions and a touchdown against Penn State.
And that's the most by a Notre Dame receiver this year. Notre Dame not necessarily known for those big wide receiver games per se, but when they get a game like that from Greathouse, you know they're tested.
Ohio State 28, Notre Dame 7, 12:42 left in quarter 3. After the incompletion, Leonard going to try again. That time he gives it to his back, Jeremiah Love, who scampers left only a couple of yards, and Captain Jack stops him at the line to gain. It's 3rd down coming up.
It's been tough for Jeremiah Love to get things going, and really that's been the case all CFP since he broke off that 98-yard run on the first play against Indiana, averaging under 3 yards a carry even with that.
Riley Leonard is actually going to get lucky. They give him 2 yards after his give to Jeremiah Love. So 3rd and 8 on the 27. Ohio State one high safety with Lathan Ransom. Now at the right hip, Aeneas Williams. Man in motion, Mitchell Evans to the left side. He's going to play the wing now to the slot. High snap for Leonard. Sitting in the pocket, chucks over the middle. He's got a man. It's Jordan Faison who gets all the way close to the line to gain, about a yard shy. Denzel Burke had to go across the entire field to make sure the chains don't move.
Boy, Bo Collins was giving Denzel Burke a big test in that first quarter, but Burke has locked down, and there he makes a big open field tackle. I think that's one of the biggest things as well. Open field tackling for Ohio State in this game has kept Notre Dame to 7 points.
Partner, are you seeing what I'm seeing? It's 4th and 2, and the punting unit's out for Notre Dame. It's a big spot to be in for James Rendell, the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology transfer. If they're going to fake it, they run right, they throw down to the line to gain, and it's not there. Denzel Burke stopped him. Tyler Beckner tried to throw it, and Denzel Burke read that like a book.
If you go back to their game against Georgia Tech, Tyler Buckner did that, and they connected for 19 yards with Cooper Flanagan.
Actually, no, that was Steve Angeli they had under center. Wow, that was completely unexpected.
Which is interesting because usually you don't want the backup quarterback to be out there because clearly that poses a question mark for the defense. That's why Tyler Buckner out there, he's a special teamer, but former starting quarterback at Notre Dame against Ohio State in 2022. Steve
Angeli had some pretty big snaps played against Penn State in the Orange Bowl after an injury that was hit to Riley Leonard that caused him to go to the medical tent. Well, now the Buckeyes having a perfect spot. Trips receivers left to right. Empty set for Howard. 1st and 10 on his own 33, or actually the Notre Dame 33. They're going to give on the cutback to Henderson, who cuts up right side of the hash, gets past the 30, all the way to the 27-yard line, where he's stopped at the top from Adon Schuler.
That's kind of your anti-jet sweep type of run play there because Henderson sweeps across the line in motion, and instead of keeping going, he stops, then he accelerates, and he picks up a few.
You're now at a spot here if you're Ohio State. You can run it, you can throw it, you can do whatever you want. When are you going to get it to 4 again? I think that's the biggest question everybody's wondering. He's now at the near side of us at the 30, one-on-one against Christian Gray. Now flipping hips from left to right is Henderson. Howard in shotgun, gets a snap, hands it off. Henderson, actually no, he gives it himself, runs around and curls at the 25, dives forward to the 21-yard line. And Jordan Clark, the son of NFL legend Ryan Clark, is on the tackle.
Former Arizona State Sun Devil. Where have we heard that before?
We have heard that before. What else have we heard? Ryan Clark, former Giant as well, which I know some of my family members would be happy to hear, of course, being from the Northeast area.
He fits the Austin Crume profile.
He does, every now and then. Not everybody does, but, you know, you're a Sun Devil. You get this point, you know, you're playing in the national championship. I never got to play in a natty, but, hey, you know, we're in the same building, so it's got to mean something. 10 minutes to go and ticking. In quarter 3, Ohio State 28, Notre Dame 7. On the 22-yard line for Howard, who's moving quick. So he gives to Judkins outside the 20, puts his arm out left, and he's brought down at the outside. Leonard Moore wrapped him up by his left cleat, and if he was gone, it was free pay dirt in the end zone for Henderson.
Who knows if Leonard Moore makes this much of an impact this season if the All-American corner Benjamin Morrison plays and isn't hurt. Nonetheless, it's been a big loss not having Morrison, but if there's one consolation, it's the breakout of Leonard Moore.
2 receivers left and right for Howard. Working to the weak side of the field, runs right, gets the snap, flag down behind him. So free play. Chuck's left. He's got an open man. It's Egbuka stumbling at the 15, gets into the left hash. He's got 5, now 6 golden buckets trying to stop him to move forward. Rod Hurd was there. The biggest question is, what's the call? We're going to find out here from our Whitecap. It's a hold on Josh Fryer. So they'll move that one back and reset it.
Well, it was a design rollout to the right. Howard had a lot of time. And yes, Fryer bear hugs Adon Schuler around the shoulder. Travion Henderson was going to block Schuler, and then he was going to release. You could argue Henderson was even grappling onto him as well.
This is what you get from this Ohio State receiving corps. They can block, they can do well, but sometimes they're going to get a little handsy. So Howard going to move it back, still on the right side of the hash, moving right to left towards his Ohio State painted end zone. Majority of the fans at Scarlet right there. Under center, Howard gives it to Henderson. Again, runs right to the right side of the line. Hits off a man at the 27, bounces again to his right, one step, and he's brought down the outside from Joshua Burnham and Gabriel Rubio.
And that time, G. Scott Jr., as well as Will Kazmarek, they were trying to seal that edge, but Carnell Tate, who came in to block, kind of ran into Burnham and it opened up Rubio.
All right, tough spot here for Ohio State. 3rd and 16 on the 28. 8:11 to go, quarter 3. They're up by 21 in the national championship game. Howard, what do you got in the pocket? Looks right, chucks a bomb open to the end zone over the head of a diving Carnell Tate at the college football playoff logo. Left side of the end zone, Christian Gray was the shadow to Carnell Tate.
Howard had him, just overshot Carnell Tate. It was just a quick streak route. Egbuka cuts in, and it's a stutter and go. So Tate made his move. It's one of those plays that you got to get timing right. That's everything.
Partner, this is a 46-yard attempt for fielding at the right side hash. His career long is 47. He's 11 of 15 on the season, 2 of 3 on field goals in the playoffs. Here's a snap the kick. He bombs end over end, tailing through the uprights, and it goes. Buckeyes had 3 more. They're up 31-7.
They can sniff the national championship right now. Notre Dame needs a response. They're playing with juice. They're riled up. And Jaden Fielding has really been feeling it in this CFP. He's been money this year from 40 to 49 yards out. He's only missed 1 kick this year.
His only blemish of a game, really, which you could say for all of this Ohio State team, was the Michigan game, which now completely in the rear view as they're closer and closer to a natty. 7:52 left in quarter 3. Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 7. back out of the break here on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 7 with 7:52 left in quarter 3. Partner, who's Tyler Danburg, by the way, I'm Austin Crume. Thanks for joining us. But this is a pretty big game for the both of us. One, your final game with SGSR. My last game working with you here. Both of us, our first football calls was against Notre Dame the past 2 seasons.
How about that?
Kind of works out.
Well, the circles go round and round, as Billy Preston would say. But it's been an absolute pleasure to be here with you.
You too,
Call
man.
you partner for 2 years.
Exactly.
Call you friend for even more.
Exactly. Hopefully a little bit longer than 2 years. We're going to keep this one up. But Ohio State still want to keep this 31-7 lead with about 8 full minutes to go in quarter 3. They've basically scored on every offensive drive they've been on. 4 touchdowns and then the field goal from Fielding. All within good time as well, about 6 minutes or less. So Chip Kelly and Ryan Day working with a quickness.
They're now outscoring opponents 121-16 in the third quarter this year.
My goodness. If you thought that quarter 3 was going to be the big one coming into the playoffs, then the first quarter showed up. And then the Texas game happened, and here we are back with quarter 1. So Fielding set, same with the rest of the Buckeyes, swinging their arms, going right to left. Fielding runs up, bombed away, kick end over end to the end zone. Jaden Harrison arms out again, right in the middle of the O. And Ohio State painted end zone. Riley Leonard, you're in a big spot here. What do you got? Down as many as you are.
You're going to have to take a couple shots. And Riley Leonard is known for his legs. 4th among active quarterbacks in rush yards in college football, but this is where he's going to need to turn it loose. You also have to be cognizant of turning the ball over. You can't afford a giveaway now.
He had 2 interceptions against Penn State when he was forced to throw. This is one of those spots again. Ohio State realizes it. Playing the outside press, coverage and 2 high safeties. Trips receivers right for Leonard. He gets it, runs himself on the option up the left side. He gets past the 30, up to the 31, and Caden Curry brings him down on the solo tackle.
And when you have a 24-point lead, it allows some of the extra rushmen to get involved. And Caden Curry, one of 2 Big Ten defensive ends to block a punt this year, coming in for a stop after a modest game.
They still have Ty Hamilton out as well. Caden McDonald and Kenyatta Jackson playing at the rushman package. Empty set now for Leonard. Has a man in motion to the left. He chucks right on the flat. He gets it open. Chris Mitchell, who runs up right side, stutter steps one way, cuts back in. He's brought down by the Buckeyes in the middle. Jermaine Matthews, who's played a huge role in these playoffs for the Buckeyes.
Jim Knowles says he considers him a starter, very similar to what Cody Simon was last year. Look where that turned out for him this year.
Matthews threw him forward to a first down for ND. 6:55 to go in quarter 3. They're moving quick. Now back to the right hip is Jeremiah Love for Leonard. High snap for the Golden Dome QB, who cuts right out of the pocket, chucks it over the middle. He gets it to Jordan Faison, catches at the 40, scampers up 45. And the Buckeyes with Igbinosin are there to stop the motion.
That's a good read there by Riley Leonard. He was looking for the sideline. He would have had Love as the safety valve, but instead he checked it down and went to Collins.
Leonard now moving a guy in motion. Mitchell Evans, he motions almost every single play for this Notre Dame offense, and they get him back under center. It's a run play. They give to Love, runs right to the Buckeyes, and Cody Simon and Sonny Styles push him all the way back past the line.
And that's the definition of stacked up. Notre Dame just 54 yards on the ground. That is now 89 yards allowed against the run in the last 3 playoff games for Jim Knowles' defense.
5:50 and ticking, quarter 3. Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 7. Riley Leonard trips receivers on the left. Ohio State stacking the powerful side of the field. Man in motion, Mitchell Evans gets under center, now cuts back out to the left side wing. 3 fake snaps from Leonard, and now he has it in a pocket, and he's brought down at the 25 or 35, I should say. Sonny Styles blitzed right off the box, and Tyleek Williams wrapped him up by the feet to seal it.
Boy, Sonny Styles, the former safety turned linebacker, has become a great blitzing linebacker. He's a headhunter. He's going to shoot through this gap between Billy Shrouth and Charles Jagiusha, and then he bowled off Jadarian Price.
Leonard, 3rd and 19. He's going to have to throw it all the way from South Bend if he wants to get it. So an empty set for him. Ohio State dropping 5. Here he comes. He's wrapped up by JTT, but chucks it off left, gets it off. It's in the hands of Mitchell Evans, and a flag flies. There's a lot of contact. Nick Benosin was there. Same with Caleb Downs, but it looks like it might have been a free play. Yep, pass interference called by Nick Benosin.
And that's been one of the national storylines. Davison Igbenosin, with his physical presence, is one of the most penalized defensive backs in college football. It's got to the point where they've had him use winter gloves in practice, and it's actually worked.
It worked especially against the Penn State and Nittany Lions when they faced him, where he got the interception. 15 penalties in coverage, which leads college football for Igbenosin. It's now an even better spot. 1st and 10, 48. Leonard chucks right side, has it in the flat. Bo Collins gets it, spins around him in, steps outside. Lathan Ransom got him by the foot to keep him there. And Caleb Downs also helped him out to be a security guard.
And Caleb Downs has just been so cerebral, not just in this game, but this season overall. He sees the play happening either before it happens or as it unfolds in real time. He's reacting with the action.
Jeremiah Love, left hip now. He's holstered right next to Riley Leonard, the former Duke transfer and Notre Dame captain. He snaps high, gives to Love, bounces off. Instead, he'll do it himself and run basically into the arms of JT Tuimoloau. He hugged him all the way there. It's 3rd and 1. It's a very close one to get a 3 for Leonard.
Tuimoloau has just been so critical in this CFP run. He's got 9 tackles for loss in the 4 playoff games. That's the most in the tournament.
Now a big spot, 3rd and 1 on the OSU 39 for Leonard. Man in motion, Jaden Greathouse, the receiver. Leonard's going to do it himself. Breaks a tackle at the 40. Stutter steps his way to the 35. Lathan Ransom stops him, but a 1st down for ND.
Good off-tackle quarterback run there. The right guard in Rocco Spindler, his 13th straight start, helping trailblaze there for Leonard.
Something we don't see too often from Marcus Freeman in the offense. They're going tempo and a pass-heavy offense. Trips receivers on the left side for Leonard, who has it again. Oh, deep pocket, chucks right over the shoulder of his intended target of Jaden Thomas, who was outside the numbers of the 15. Seatbelt defense from Denzel Burke to stop the play.
Denzel Burke has 28 career pass breakups, has yet to record one pretty much all season. But it's plays like that, which is where Denzel Burke is going to play a lot on Sundays because of his abilities in coverage.
It's 2nd and 10. Ohio State won high safety. It's Lathan Ransom, who's played downhill, had his best career tackle game against Notre Dame last year with 13 in the QB hurry. Now with Leonard, looks left, chucks underneath. He gets it to Greathouse, who spins a tackle, breaks it open. Now he's open. 15 in the 10, running forward into the end zone. Touchdown, Greathouse. His 2nd game in a row with a touchdown. And now Notre Dame still in it. Ohio State fans, you got to stay involved.
And that was all after the catch for Jaden Greathouse. He was isolated to the boundary left. Chris Mitchell opened it up for him. He blows past Tremaine Matthews and a little pirouette past the 3rd level. And then Matthews even caught back up with him. But it was too late. Jaden Greathouse with some yak yards for the score.
They're going for 2 now as well. The 34-yard touchdown from Leonard to Greathouse. We talked about it. He whirlwind his way around the defense. Got past 1 defender and then a 2nd. And it was open season. Now here's Leonard. And in motion, Jordan Faison, the lacrosse national champion. Leonard has it himself, pitches forward, hits Love, and they get the 2-point to go as well. It's 31-15 with 3:03 left to go in the 3rd quarter. This is still very much a ball game. Ohio State up with 3 left to go in quarter 3. We'll step aside on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Back to business here at the National Championship. Notre Dame just scored on a 34-yard touchdown from Riley Leonard to Jaden Greathouse. They're finishing off with a 2-point conversion for Jeremiah Love. It's 31-15 Ohio State. Final 3 minutes in quarter number 3. He's Tyler Danburg. I'm Austin Crume. A setup for James Rendell. The kickoff specialist Mitch Jeter along with him, the former South Carolina transfer. Jeter walking back to the left side hash. Behind him, the Ohio State painted end zone. Kicking to the Notre Dame painted end zone. All black with the gold lettering of ND. Here's the boot from Jeter. A high tailing kick like it has wings. And Buka catches it at the 5. Spins around. They give him the fair catch sign. And Howard comes out. And there's a TV timeout. So we'll take it with him. We'll be back in about 3 minutes here on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Onto the field. Ohio State moving right to left with Howard. They got 10 seconds to go before they're out of the timeout. And there's a palpable buzz in this stadium. They're showing Ryan Day on the screen to our right. I don't know if I've ever seen him that energetic or emotional in a positive way. Something different in the air tonight in Atlanta. Howard with 12 personnel. He's got 2 tight ends to the left, Kaczmarek and Scott. Henderson at the right hip. Howard's got it. Play action, chucks over the middle, gets it a crossing route to Emeka Egbuka to the 32-yard line. Leonard Moore stops him. A modest game, it'll be 2nd and 3.
For those on milestone watch, Emeka Egbuka 55 yards away now from passing Michael Jenkins for the most receiving yards in Ohio State all-time history. He already has the receptions record that he broke earlier in this ballgame.
They're showing graphics as well. Ryan Day, 87.3 win percentage, which is 1st in active FBS head coaches and 3rd all-time. 2nd and 3 for Howard, who's got it. He's going to take it himself. Power left, get forward, push his way to the 34-yard line. We'll see if he's just short or not. Kingston Villamuasa is the only reason they don't get the first down. He put his entire chest on the line to stop Howard. 3rd and 1 on the 34, excuse me. 2:05 and ticking. Ohio State moving quick, and from the looks of it, it's a split back formation. Howard under center. Would not be surprised to see a tush push, and that's exactly what we see with Howard. They push him a yard past the line of game, and the Buckeyes move the sticks to first down.
And Travion Henderson, monumental there, propelling Will Howard forward to move the sticks. That's kind of what the Notre Dame Fighting Irish did in that first quarter, first possession of the game. They didn't run a tush push play, but they just kept shoving it down Ohio State's throats for what would have been a 9-minute, 40-second possession. But since then, the Fighting Irish, their longest drive was their last one, under 5 minutes.
Howard with 10 to go on the game clock. He got a full O-line change at left guard and right guard. Now 3 seconds in the pistol. Henderson behind him. Howard gives to his lead back 32, runs right, strips over his own legs. Gains a few forward. Howard cross, and Kingston Biamuasa stopped him again. Gain of 2 yards, the final minute now, with 58 seconds ticking. Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 15 in quarter number 3. Howard goes back to the huddle, something we don't see too often in games that are close, but now he's got some time to work with. He looked everybody in the eyes. He gets back under center. Henderson about 6 yards behind him, stacking the box for Notre Dame. They got 8 down men. It's play action for Howard in a deep pocket. Looks left, just chucks it into the Ohio State sideline. R.J. Oben has his hands on his head. 2 flags fly near Howard. Looks like it's going to be a late hit on the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down on a late hit from R.J. Oben.
That's a tough break for the former Duke Blue Devil, longtime teammate of Riley Leonard, because he beat Austin Saraville, the right guard, in reserve. And then he gave Will Howard a 2-handed shove. And although the contact wasn't necessarily light, because it was so late after Howard released, that's why they threw the flag.
Ball on the 47-yard line. It's on the OSU side of things, only 3 yards shy of getting to the positive side of things. 31 seconds, clock is stopped. Howard's got it. Give Henderson. Move left with the National Championship logo. Gets to the opposite side, 45. And for the looks of this one, partner, they might just let this one run out the final 20 seconds. We'll head to the fourth quarter. And from the looks of it, that's exactly what Ohio State is going to do. Emeka Egbuka jumping towards the near sideline at the 40, waving his hands up and down. They realize the spot. They're 15 minutes away from their 9th national championship in Ohio State history.
And in looking at the players, watching their mannerisms and seeing their energy, they can feel it, they can taste it. Notre Dame, though, the last to score. It's a 16-point game. That's about 2.5 scores worth it. That's 2 two-point conversions and 2 stops. Stranger things have happened.
Do we potentially see that with Marcus Freeman and how he's really wrote this up?
Before the last drive, Austin would say no. Not necessarily. The odds would be stacked up against them. But to see them trudge up the field in under 5 minutes, play some more up-tempo offense, and play that Notre Dame style of offense, stranger things have happened, and I think Mike Denbrock schemed a great series going in to the end of the third quarter.
We'll only find out in a couple of minutes. Tyler, you'll be on play-by-play. We're going to step aside for the break here. Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 15, headed to quarter 4.
15 minutes remain until a national champion is crowned. One thing we know, either Marcus Freeman or Ryan Day will become the third active coach in college football to win a national title, joining Kirby Smart of Georgia and Dabo Sweeney of Clemson. It's 31-15. 8-seed Ohio State leads 7-seed Notre Dame. He's Austin Crume. I'm Tyler Danburg. Pleased to be with you along with Connor Canfield and Connor Schuh from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Austin, the key, Ohio State's 31 unanswered points after Notre Dame scored on the first drive. But the Fighting Irish have the most recent touchdown and a 2-point conversion to boot. It's a 16-point game. What are you looking forward to in this fourth quarter?
I mean, we're now at a point here, partner, where Riley Leonard has to throw the ball. He's 10 of 16 for 108 yards and a touchdown. 63% completion. I told you I had this stat a little earlier. His best passing game came when he was a Duke Blue Devil. November 23rd of 2022. He threw for 391 yards and 4 touchdowns against Wake Forest. He has not had a game anywhere close to that and has not had a game over 280 yards passing with Notre Dame this season.
Today, Riley Leonard is 10 for 16 for 108 yards and a passing touchdown. That one 34 yards to Jaden Greathouse at the end of the third quarter. Ohio State is led by Will Howard, 15 of 18 for 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. He completed his first 13 passes. It's 1st and 10 Ohio State, now 2nd and 8 after that run of 2 yards from the Notre Dame 45-yard line. Empty backfield for Will Howard. He's got 5 wide, tight to the formation. Henderson jets in motion. It's a reverse around the left end to Emeka Egbuka. He's to the 45, gets a block to the 40, cuts right to the 35-30, breaks another tackle 25, and he's inside the left hash to the 21, but the ball is loose. The ball is free, and Notre Dame says they have it. It's the freshman, Kingston Biliamu-Asa, after Emeka Egbuka churned for over 20 plus.
And you can see the look in Egbuka's face. He is not happy with himself. He thinks his knee is down. The entire Ohio State O-line does well. Egbuka just said on national TV, I was down. The punch came out before. The ball is out. And you can thank Jack Kaiser for it. And Kingston Biliamu-Asa dove right on it. That is just beautiful defense. Actually, Drake Bowen punched out, excuse me. That's just beautiful defense from Notre Dame and stopped the Ohio State offense in an extremely good spot. Because if you go down and score now at Notre Dame, hey, partner, it's a potential just one-possession game.
Drake Bowen, the two-sport athlete, 3 games for Notre Dame baseball this past season, makes a momentum-stopping play. And now Notre Dame takes over, down 31-15 with 14:46 to go in the fourth quarter. How monumental of a swing is that? 1, and then 2, how much of a must-score possession is this for ND? It's a fumble.
I mean, just think about that. You hear the sound. You're now Notre Dame and you go, hey, what's going to stop us from going down and scoring again, getting another 2-point conversion, and just chucking it downfield methodically? The biggest question, you now go against the best defense in America in Ohio State.
1st and 10 Notre Dame at its own 21-yard line. Jeremiah Love is the sidecar left of Riley Leonard. He's got 2 right, single man left. End around the left end. It's Jordan Faison outside the numbers to the 20. Caleb Downs wrangles him down at the 21-yard line. He retreats to the line of scrimmage, does Faison, but Caleb Downs certainly not phased.
He's everywhere. He slides on the field like he's got soap and water underneath his feet, and he pushes off the defense, or off the offense, excuse me, and cuts his way in and gets the defensive side of things.
Eye black smearing on the face of Riley Leonard in the golden buckets. He claps for the snap. On 2nd and 10, scrambles right, evades pressure, stops, angles left, muscles right, and discards it as Jack Sawyer brings the pressure outside the right numbers near the Notre Dame 20, and it's 3rd and 9 with 14:07 to go in the fourth quarter. Still 31-15 Ohio State in the national title.
You got to give credit to the patchwork O-line for Notre Dame. They kept that play alive for a long time. And same with Leonard. He's so agile on his feet, able to scramble, move horizontally or vertically, but now you're 3rd and 9. You're forced to throw here against Ohio State.
3 down linemen for Ohio State. Hamilton, Tuimolo out, and Sawyer. Buckeyes going to drop 7. Sonny Styles now shows blitz. 3rd and 9 Notre Dame. Leonard the snap hit as he uncorks it down the left numbers. It's brought in by Jaden Greathouse. Scampers outside the numbers across the 50. Lathan Ransom lassos him at the 48 of Ohio State. A major 3rd down conversion a la what Notre Dame did against Penn State.
These are the plays that, if you are Greathouse, you need them as well as, again, Simon helped with the stop as well.
Fighting Irish working up tempo, and E.S. Williams in at running back. Here's the snap to Leonard. Evades pressure left. Chucks it left sideline, but there is a flag downfield near the 20 as Mitchell Evans and Lathan Ransom were going stride for stride, and Davis and Igbinosun had to be separated, the Ohio State defensive back. And it's called on Igbinosun, a defensive holding that moves the sticks again for Notre Dame with 13:34 to go in the 4th quarter. 31-15 Ohio State leads Notre Dame. Fighting Irish looking to make it 10+ unanswered.
Buckeyes had something very similar happen to them against Texas. The penalties were hurting them more than the other opponent was. They're now in a similar spot where you're giving more of a better field position for Notre Dame.
9 penalties in that 28-14 win last Friday. Shotgun formation for Leonard on 1st and 10 for the Ohio State 38. He grabs the snap, back in 3, dumps it off between the hashes. It's brought in by his receiver in Jaden Harrison, the Marshall transfer, and he is popped immediately. And he's going to lose 4. It's 2nd and 14.
That's so odd that they have Jaden Harrison out there. He's normally used as their kick returner, and he was one of the best doing it at Marshall last year. Very few times do you see him actually get targeted, but that only proved that the Ohio State defense was on every one of the first 3 progressions.
Harrison's 19th catch of the year. Buckeyes have 2 high safeties and Ransom and Downs. Under 13 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Leonard points on his protections. Love is in at running back to his left. Eli Reardon, backup tight end, motion man, left to right. Snap to Leonard. Love provides the block. Leonard angles right at the 40, and he's drifted back by Cody Simon and Jack Sawyer right then and there. Just 2 yards behind the initial line of scrimmage, which is the Ohio State 38. That's a pickup of 2, and it's 3rd and 12, where Notre Dame is 4 for 9 on 3rd down. They went 11 for 17 on 3rd down against Penn State.
I mean, this is a point now, 3rd and 12. You realize you're going to Greathouse or Mitchell Evans. Evans would be more underneath, but he did have a big gain against Penn State as well.
3rd and 12, Notre Dame at the right hash of the 40-yard line of Ohio State. Jordan Faison motions out of the backfield. Snap to Leonard. Buckeyes send 5. Leonard flips it right sideline, caught by Evans. Flails forward inside the 30 for some extra yardage, where he's ushered out of bounds on the right sideline by Davis and Igbinosun and Sonny Styles. Evans gets closer to the sticks. It's 4th and 5. You gotta go for it here.
I mean, you gotta go for it, and you gotta throw it. I mean, you can run it here if you're Leonard. You can pick up 5 pretty easy. This is a team in Notre Dame. They average 6.1 yards per rush. So they could do it on the legs, but it's gonna be tough to do.
Notre Dame 8th in the country on 4th down. 4th and 5. They need the Ohio State 28 from the right hash. 4 wide for Leonard. Here's the snap. Pocket collapses. He zips it inside the left hash. Greathouse brings it in across the 30, and he's down to the 21-yard line. Lorenzo Styles Jr. playing the nickel finally brings it down, but Notre Dame picks up 12.
And that's exactly what you need. You get back to Greathouse, who has been their #1 target for most of the season out wide.
Fighting Irish trying to mount a comeback in the national championship. Ohio State seeking its 9th national title. Leonard back to throw, drops it off right sideline. Greathouse snags it at the 15. Escorted out of bounds on the right sideline by Jordan Hancock and Davis and Igbinosun. And that is a pickup of 5.
And this is so methodical here from Marcus Freeman. They're playing underneath, they're getting the checkdowns, they're not going too far, and it has worked perfectly against an Ohio State defense that right now is preparing for a run or a deep ball. They're not prepared for underneath.
This Ohio State defense has allowed only 214 total yards of offense for Notre Dame, who has it down 31-15, 2nd and 4 Irish from the Buckeyes 16. 3 receivers left, single man right, snap to Leonard, 4-man rush. He unloads to the left sideline, jump ball, and it's knocked away. Looking for Jaden Harrison. Denzel Burke is in coverage. A flag is down inside the left numbers to the 10, and let's tune in to the SEC referee Steve Marlowe's call down to the field. Holding on Denzel Burke. First down, Notre Dame.
I don't know about that one. That was close. If anything, it's when Burke turns around to go against Jaden Harrison. And yeah, what they're showing is that Burke just never turned around. He angled at Harrison instead of at the fall, and that's why they threw the flag.
So now it's first and goal from the 8. 10:21 left to go in the fourth quarter. Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 15. Two two-point conversions after 2 touchdowns for Notre Dame can knot this game up at 31 apiece. Leonard in an empty backfield calls Faison and Greathouse in motion tight to the line. Design run for Leonard as he grabs the snap, retreats to the line of scrimmage, and Kenyatta Jackson Jr. corrals him. And that's actually a loss of 1 at second and goal.
And Leonard was slow to get up as well, but Jordan Hancock and Denzel Burke in the secondary stopped down Jordan Faison and Jaden Greathouse on the strong side of the field.
10th play of the drive. Notre Dame started off, and it's own 30-yard line. Jeremiah Love is the sidecar left of Leonard. Faison is the single man right. Bell tie snap to Leonard. He looks Faison's way. He floats it right side of the end zone. Mitchell Evans, the intended target, cannot make the catch. Lathan Ransom there in coverage.
I mean, this is where you're going to see the best Buckeye defense on the field. They're the best team red zone coverage-wise. Also, Riley Leonard is banged up. His left knee is bleeding. He was slow to get up after getting hit by Kenyatta Jackson just a play prior. You're now at a point, you're forcing Leonard to play a game he doesn't like. It's worked for him, but now he's going up against a defense that knows what's coming.
Third and goal Irish from the Buckeyes 9. Love is off the left hip of Leonard, who calls Greathouse in a slot, motion to the slot. Ohio State with 4 on the line. Chest high snap to Leonard, sidesteps pressure, delivers over the middle, and it is knocked away. Jordan Hancock wags the finger and says not today. The intended target, Jaden Greathouse. It's 4th and goal for Notre Dame from the 9 of Ohio State.
I mean, I think you got to go with a field goal at this point. It would not help given the fact of the time that's remaining, 9:34 in the fourth quarter. But if you can do what you just did on the defensive side and poke it out of the hands of the Buckeyes and force a turnover, which they're the best team turnover-wise in the playoffs, anything could happen.
They have 4 interceptions. 27-yard attempt from the right hash for Mitch Jeter. The long snap from Reno Monteforte. The hold from Chris Salerno. Jeter's kick hooks left. He pulled it to the left of the upright and misses from 27. What could have pulled Notre Dame closer instead puts Ohio State 9 minutes, 27 seconds closer to the first ever 12-team college football playoff title.
I mean, if there was a guy who was going to miss, you did not expect it to be Mitch Jeter. It was a perfect hold, laces out. Good hold as well from Chris Salerno. And dude just shanked it with his right, hit off the left side of the pylon. That loud twang sound you guys heard that reverberated all around Mercedes-Benz. And the Buckeye fans, they can taste it with 9:30 to go.
31-15, Ohio State leads Notre Dame. 9:27 to go, fourth quarter. Buckeyes ball when we come back on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. They take over from their own 20 from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. 31-15, Ohio State leads Notre Dame with 9:27 left to go in the 2025 College Football Playoff National Championship. He's Austin Crume. I'm Tyler Danburg. Mitch Jeter for Notre Dame, the hero in the Orange Bowl with a 41-yard field goal against Penn State at the Horn. Not able to convert from 27 yards out, and Ohio State takes over 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line. Austin, what have you liked so far from Ohio State in this game that's allowed them to be so successful?
I mean, it has to have been the first 4 drives where they went down, touchdown, 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 and then, of course, touchdown, and then decided, you know, we're going to also go and kick Jaden Fielding a 46-yarder. That was, I think, one of the bigger questions. Is Fielding able to get those deeper kicks if it came down to it? Now Mitch Jeter, and now the aspect side of things where you go, okay, you need to score here for your Notre Dame. If not, depending on how much time Ohio State uses, that could be it. And when you miss that, you can't even get the 3 to make it a little bit closer and at least 31-18. That has to put a damper on how the team is really feeling on the defensive side.
It certainly has to. Ohio State is out getting Notre Dame 360 to 213. 170 passing yards for Ohio State, but 185 on the ground. Quinshon Judkins, 6 carries, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a 70-yard touchdown. Travion Henderson right behind him with 49 yards. Judkins is the running back to the right of Will Howard. 1st and 10, Ohio State at its own 20. Snapping a hand up to Judkins off the right side of the line. He is stonewalled by Gabriel Rubio, making his 3rd straight start, replacing the leading sack getter for Notre Dame, Riley Mills. That's a pickup of 1.
And you could see already what Ohio State's game plan is. Run the clock out as much as you possibly can. Of course, you want to get to the positive side of the field, but if you can just keep giving these handoffs to Henderson and Judkins, you're going to take as much time as you possibly need.
Time of possession favors Ohio State by a minute. Buckeyes in the silver helmets, white jerseys, silver pants against the Notre Dame defense in gold buckets, navy jerseys, and gold pants. Shotgun for Howard, who's got 3 receivers left. Low snap to Howard. Powers off right guard. He dashes across the 30. First down, Will Howard, and he's up to the 32-yard line. That is an 18-yard scamper for Will Howard with 8:35 and ticking in the 4th quarter. Adon Schuler finally tracked him down.
I mean, this was a big question on when was Howard really going to be able to move, and it was because of a nice sweep and go from Montgomery going left to right. He pushed the block open in the A-gap for Howard to just scamper his way up and then slither his way to the left side of the field.
31-15, Ohio State leads Notre Dame. Pistol formation for the Buckeyes. Notre Dame with 4 down linemen. Carnell Tate in motion left to right. Notre Dame creeps in the defensive backfield. Judkins gets the toe. Scampers down the chute. Rumbles to the 35-yard line for a gain of 3. Drake Bowen, who forced the fumble on Emeka Egbuka at the Ohio State opponent's 20, makes the stop.
And you could see what Ohio State's doing. If they can get to their own 45, their own 45, yeah, let's put it that way, their own 45, they could play underneath. They don't have to get out of bounds. They could do whatever they want. It's already been so methodical. They've only spent about 2 minutes just on this, and it's been about 5 solid plays.
2 timeouts for Ohio State, 3 for Notre Dame, who missed a 27-yard field goal that would have cut the Ohio State lead down to 13. Will Howard in the gun, tosses to the left hash for Judkins, across the 35, and tackled between the left hash and numbers at the 40-yard line where Christian Gray, the defensive back, as well as Drake Bowen yet again, conjoined for the stop, and it's 3rd and 3 from the Ohio State 39.
Now we're going to see where one of the best man coverage teams defensively is going to be put to work. And through the semifinal, they're the #1 pass efficiency defense at 99.50%. They know you're going to have to go to Egbuka or Jeremiah Smith or Carnell Tate. You can't really run it in this spot because of the box being stacked and the linebackers being activated.
The #1 man coverage defense against the #1 man coverage quarterback. Will Howard on 3rd and 3 from the 39. Design rollout right, tosses right flat, and it's off the right glove hand of Jeremiah Smith. Incomplete, 4th and short. Jeremiah Smith held to 4 catches for 32 yards. Emeka Egbuka has a team-high 6 catches for 64 yards, and he is 31 yards away from breaking Michael Jenkins' record. Here comes the punt unit with 6:34 to go in the 4th quarter.
Well, now you're going to give Notre Dame a pretty decent spot to go. If they get it well with Hurleman, they might be able to move it close to their own 35.
The former Colgate Raider of the FCS, Max Hurleman, back at his own 20-yard line. Joe McGuire, the Australian, with a right-legged booming kick, fielded on the left hash of the 10. Hurleman brings it up the left hash to the 20, where he's tackled at the 21-yard line after a return of 11. But Joe McGuire with a 40-plus yard boot. And Notre Dame starts off at its own 21. We'll step aside here on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. You're listening to the 2025 College Football Playoff National Championship. With 6:34 to go in the fourth quarter, 8-seed Ohio State 31, 7-seed Notre Dame 15. You're listening to the official student radio home of Ohio State Athletics. Tyler Danburg, Austin Crume, Connor Schuh, Connor Canfield with you from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, where Ohio State leads Notre Dame 31-15 with 6:25 left to go in the fourth quarter. Two iconic college football brands, two of the top four winningest programs in the history of the sport, 19 combined national champions. But one of these teams is going to make it 20. The question is, who? So far, Ohio State looking like the one that can make it 9 national championships in program history, and the first is 2015.
Partner, this is also the spot where both of these head coaches were under scrutiny, whether it was after the Northern Illinois loss in the second week, or Ohio State with the loss to Michigan for now 4 straight years, and then now making the Big Ten championship. This game, if Ryan Day can lead his team to victory, may secure himself a potential lifetime job with Ohio State. And even if Marcus Freeman doesn't, he got Notre Dame back to a championship game since 2012 in the BCS game where they got dog-walked by Alabama. That could also lead to a potential lifetime gig with ND.
Fighting Irish looking to forge a comeback that would amount for their first national championship since 1988. First and 10 Fighting Irish at their own 20-yard line left hash. Receivers in a 2x2 for Riley Leonard. Jeremiah Love is the running back to his left. 2 linebackers for Ohio State, 4 on the line. Snap to Howard, rushes on. Leonard scrambles left, hit as he unfurls over the left hash, and is brought in by a sliding Bo Collins with Jermaine Matthews Jr. draped all over him. First down, Notre Dame, an 11-yard pickup.
Absolutely beautiful play and a good slide from Collins as well to get it on the scramble.
4 wide still for Leonard, claps for the snap, back into, slings it left sideline. Evans makes the snag at the 36. Jermaine Matthews Jr. escorts him out, and that's a gain of 4.
Very few times you're going to see an up-tempo air raid Notre Dame. We're now going to see that here in the final 6 minutes.
31-15 Ohio State. You can smell the national championship. You have to assume in Columbus. Under 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Notre Dame in the Golden Domes against the silver-bulleted defense of Ohio State. Looking to the far sideline where Mike Denbrock, offensive coordinator, dials up a play change. Snap to Leonard, pocket crumbles, he flips it over the middle, it's caressed by Evans, makes a head fake to the 50, dashes down the right hash to the 40, he's inside the 30, and the Wadsworth, Ohio native, in Northeast Ohio, somersaults inside the 35-yard line where Lathan Ransom pulls him around the silver helmet.
I mean, my goodness. Mitch Evans, it was only a matter of time before he got his big game.
That's a pick of a 33. First and 10, ND from the OSU 31. Three receivers left for Leonard, who takes the snap. Sawyer and Tui Molowell pressure him, and Tui Molowell gets him. Ty Hamilton there in assistance. JT Tui Molowell now with 9.5 tackles for loss in the college football playoff, and it's a loss of 2.
JTT is holding that ankle. He busted up against Texas right after this sack. He grabbed his ankle and is now sitting down near the 2025 logo at the 30-yard line.
Sean Barnhouse, head athletic trainer, along with Bob Sweeney and Michael Sitniak, out to treat the left ankle of JT Tui Molowell, which is interesting to note. His right ankle was the one that was taped in big, bulky black athletic tape. And we will step aside here with 4:40 left in the fourth quarter. 31-15, Ohio State over Notre Dame. And the Notre Dame and Ohio State fans separated by about 200 miles, going back and forth as JT Tui Molowell walks under his own power with a crowd reacting. We'll step aside for station ID here on SGSR. Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 15, 4:40 left in quarter number 4. It's the national championship. Ryan Day is under 5 minutes away from winning his first coveted national championship in his 4th college football playoff in 6 years as a head coach. But Austin, Notre Dame driving here. Mitchell Evans, a 33-yard catch and run. And it makes you wonder, with the Mitch Jeter field goal, had he made it from 27 yards out and Notre Dame punches it into the end zone, we got ourselves a ball game.
I mean, it's a big what-if question at this point, which there is still time. 4 minutes, 44 seconds to go. If Notre Dame could score within 1 or 2 more plays, maybe stay within 4 minutes, and then force Ohio State to do a quick 3-and-out, which is very tough to do against the Ohio State offense. If you could do all that, you might have 3 solid or 2 minutes to try to work it and see what you can really come up with. If you chuck everything into a basket, maybe it will come out to something. But the biggest question is, you're going up against an Ohio State defense that now knows Notre Dame back against the wall. They're gonna throw, because if you start running and are tackled down in the open field before the chains move, clock still moves, but you do have the 3 timeouts.
JT Tui Molowell, the defensive end, got the sack on Riley Leonard on first down and 10, a loss of 2 to bring up 2nd and 12, but then he aggravated one of his ankles, walked off under his own power, and he has his helmet in his right hand and is going to trot on out to line up against the backup left tackle, Charles Jagisa. The official attendance for tonight's game, 77,660, Austin, which when you think about it, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is reported to get up to 75,000, typical 71,000 attendance. It tells you everything you need to know about the state of college football and the state of football in the Midwest.
I mean, if it tells you anything from Ohio Stadium, it's about 35,000 less, which just thinking that Indiana's stadium holds about 35,000. I mean, that just tells you the difference of what college football really means, like you said.
It's been a spectacular year. A new year, a 12-team college football playoff year. One of these teams is 4 minutes, 44 seconds away from being crowned the victors of that inaugural honor. Motion man left to right, clock runs, Notre Dame ball, 2nd and 12, Ohio State 33. Leonard dumps it off, right side of Collins, and he is tripped down by Denzel Burke at the 32. Collins plunges to the 30, and he gains 3. It's 3rd and 9, Notre Dame.
If there's a world where this drive somehow does not end in the end zone before the 2-minute timeout, there's a question about Marcus Freeman with the offense.
3rd and 9, Notre Dame. Here's the helmet eye snap to Leonard. Launches left side of the end zone, and it is caught! Touchdown, Jaden Greathouse. He goes one-on-one down the left sideline and bear hugs it around his shoulder pads for his 2nd receiving touchdown of the game. It's a 30-yard score, and it's 31-21 Ohio State over Notre Dame.
I mean, a beautiful ball from Leonard. He realized it, chucked the rainbow to the left side of the end zone. One-on-one single coverage. Jaden Greathouse catches it in his left bicep and hugs it close to his chest. If you're Ryan Day, this is still very much a ball game. And partner, they're down by 10 to Notre Dame. You go for 2 here. Do you go for onside?
4:15 left in the fourth quarter. You got to keep it as an open-minded option. But then you also got to trust your defense. Right?
Of course. One of the best, though, in the country is Notre Dame's defense. So there is 2 sides of the pendulum.
Jadarian Price is the running back, 2 yards behind Riley Leonard, who walks up under center Pat Coogan. He takes the under snap. He rounds it around the right end of face-off, floats it back in the end zone, and it's brought in by Bo Collins. Philly, and Notre Dame is within 8.
You called it, the Philly special. You see Bo Collins and Faison. Faison had a little flick to that like he's back in a lacrosse pitch.
He had 9 assists for the National Championship Notre Dame Fighting Irish men's lacrosse team. And he caps off a 6-play, 80-yard, 2-minute, 10-second touchdown drive anchored by a 30-yard score from Riley Leonard to Jaden Greathouse. And a little trickeration for the 2-point conversion. And now it's 31-23 Ohio State with 4:15 to go in the fourth quarter.
I mean, partner, if you're Ohio State here, not only are you going to use as much time as you can of this 4:15 remaining, you want to score. Because if you give it back to Notre Dame with any time, it's an 8-point game here. You get a touchdown in another 2-point conversion, you're tied.
That you certainly are. What a difference a touchdown makes in a 16-point deficit. Mitch Jeter has the ball teed up at Notre Dame's own 35-yard line. The Notre Dame pennant end zone in black is to our right. The Ohio State pennant end zone in black is to our left. 31-23 Ohio State in front of Notre Dame. 4:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Travion Henderson is set deep to return the pooch kick at his own 20. Notre Dame's special teamers line up to the right. Ohio State expects on sides. It's a squib kick that trickles between the left hash and numbers to the 20, where Henderson picks it up, follows a convoy to the 23, and he is stonewalled by Jack Kaiser. So that's a 3-yard return for Travion Henderson, and that's where Ohio State sets up shop.
You knew it was going to be a weird kick. Just based on the look of it, the entire special team side of things for Notre Dame shifts the side of the field, and that forced Ohio State to, one, have their hands team ready, but play forward. So if the ball got past Henderson, Buckeyes were going to be in a bad spot offensively. Luckily, he gets it, gains the trio, like you said, in the 3 yards. And now if you're Will Howard, this is the drive of your life. You want to cement yourself in Ohio State lore, you got to at least get off about 2 minutes of this drive.
1st and 10 Ohio State at its own 24-yard line. 31-23. Buckeyes lead the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame with 4:10 left to go in the national championship. Fighting Irish have scored 16 unanswered points. Single back offense. Motion man left to right. It's a give around the right end to Quinshon Judkins, who has 3 total touchdowns in this game. He's tackled inside the right hash mark at the 27 by Jack Kaiser.
Buckeyes going back to the huddle, too. You're going to force Marcus Freeman to use a timeout here. It's only a matter of time of when. He's got 3.
Ohio State looking to win its first national championship since 2015. Notre Dame seeking its first since 1988. Howard operates out of the gun. Towel flailing off his right hip. He's got 3 receivers right. It's a design run for Howard. Scampers off left tackle to the 30. He's got 1 man to beat across the 35. He submarines past the line again, which is the Ohio State 34, and he gains 8. That is a monumental run for the former Kansas State quarterback in his first year as a Buckeye.
Howard has been having games as of recent where the run has gotten better and better. When was he going to have that game where he was going to really get up there and go? This is that game where we saw that K-State Will Howard drive for 70-plus against Texas.
Jordan Clark, the nickel backer for Notre Dame, is down at the 50-yard line. I believe Notre Dame might have lost its timeout there.
Ooh.
So now they're down to 2.
We'll see what the officials say.
You can hear Ryan Day chanting, "Let's go, let's go." He is a man rejuvenated. He's been finger gunning. He's been sprinting down the sideline. Today, he's been all over the place on the near sideline, trying to win his first national championship and to join Paul Brown, Woody Hayes, Jim Tressel, and Urban Meyer as the only Ohio State head coaches to hoist a national championship.
He said it himself after the loss to Michigan. I'm going to have to fight from here on out, and that's exactly what he's done.
1st and 10 Buckeyes at their own 35-yard line. Notre Dame crowds the box. They've got 3 down linemen, edges show pressure, 2 linebackers showing blitz. Ohio State shifts 2 tight ends in Bennett Kirsten and Will Kazmarek to the right side of the line. Howard, left leg in front of his right, grabs the snap, runs off right guard, brought down at the 35, where he gains none, but more importantly, drills the clock, running under 2 minutes 40 seconds.
Notre Dame did not lose their timeout, by the way. So something to keep in mind.
So they still stay at 3, and you do have the 2-minute timeout, and because of that, Marcus Freeman calls TO with the clock stop at 2:40 in the 4th quarter, 31-23, Ohio State over Notre Dame.
My goodness, the past 2 years for these games, they've been close. No surprise, now in the national championship, it's coming down to these final 3 minutes.
Well, Austin, when you look at it, Notre Dame scored first. They chewed out 9 minutes on the clock, but the last 2 touchdowns they've scored and the last 16 points that they've generated here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they have done it in almost just as much time as that first touchdown drive single-handedly. The last touchdown drive, 30-yard touchdown to Jaden Greathouse, 2 minutes 10 seconds. A 34-yard touchdown to Jaden Greathouse, 4 minutes 49 seconds. So a tale of 2 ends of the spectrum. Meanwhile, Ohio State, they've been playing the time of possession battle this entire second half. They only have 10 points all the 3rd quarter.
The worst thing to come here for Howard, if he happens to throw an interception. So far, he's got 2 touchdowns, 175 yards. He's 16 of 20, but he had that very unfortunate one against Texas where it allowed the Longhorns to then go back and drive.
First quarterback in championship history to complete 13 straight passes. Notre Dame shifts all over the defensive front. 2nd and 10, Ohio State between the hashes at its own 35. Snapping a design run to Howard off the left side. He tries the left tackle in Jackson to the 34, and he's going to lose at least 1. It's 3rd and 11. Buckeyes, stop made by Joshua Burnham, and Marcus Freeman calls timeout for Notre Dame. 2 minutes, 44 seconds left in quarter number 4, and 1 timeout left for Notre Dame with the 2-minute timeout. And it's must-stop territory for the Fighting Irish.
I mean, that's actually pretty surprising to me, calling a back-to-back. I get you don't want the clock to go down to the 2-minute timeout, but you just stopped 2 run plays. Basically, as soon as they begin, you nipped them in the butt. It's 3rd and 11 for Ohio State now. You're forcing them to throw against the best man coverage defense in the country. Of course, Will Howard, the best statistical quarterback against man coverage defense in FBS, but you're now at a spot. Xavier Watts has been quiet today. Christian Gray has been quiet today. Leonard Moore has been quiet today. When do they get involved? This could be their ND moment if they could get a crucial stop and turnover.
Christian Gray intercepted a pass with the game tied at 24 at the Penn State 40. Notre Dame connected on a 41-yard field goal by Mitch Teeter, who missed an all-important 27-yarder early on in this game. 2:45 to go, 4th quarter. Ohio State 8 for 10 on 3rd down today. From the left hash at the OSU 34. 4 wide for Howard, who takes the belt tie snap, chucks it down the right sideline, looking for Jeremiah Smith, and over the shoulder catch at the 25, drags Christian Gray to the 10, and he's down to the 9-yard line. 57 yards from Will Howard to Jeremiah Smith. First to go Buckeyes from the Notre Dame 9.
And there's JJ4. Marcus Freeman asked it as a joking question. Day, how do I stop number 4 in any way possible? Couldn't stop him there, even though you did it earlier. And the Buckeye fans who are biting their fingernails the past few minutes think they can breathe a little bit easy. LeBron James in attendance loves what he sees as well. And the Buckeyes now, with Day flapping his wings up and down with a lot of intensity, can taste the national championship.
Ohio State 2 minutes away. 2-minute timeout. If Notre Dame got a stop, they could have gotten the ball, and 8 points would have tied the game. But instead, Will Howard links up with his main man, Jeremiah Smith, who now has become the all-time leading true freshman wide receiver in the history of college football, dating back to 1972. It's 31-23, Ohio State over Notre Dame, with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. When we come back on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio, Ohio State has first and goal from the Notre Dame 9, looking to stake its claim as the first college football playoff national champions in a 12-team stage. Ohio State leads Notre Dame 31-23 with 2 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Ohio State all of a sudden facing 3rd and 11. Advances 57 yards down the field. Will Howard finds Jeremiah Smith in single coverage for a 57-yard catch. And now it's first and goal from the 9. He's Austin Crume. I'm Tyler Danburg. This is the National Championship. The Richter scale is wondering what Mercedes-Benz Stadium in a scarlet-laden crowd is going to sound like if the Buckeyes can punch it in 9 yards from now.
I mean, we're going to find out potentially. And the way Judkins has played this game, do we see another 9-yard run from Quinshon Judkins? Do they try to get a potential final touchdown of his collegiate career for Travion Henderson?
Quinshon Judkins is one total touchdown shy of the Ohio State championship game record in the bowl era for the most touchdowns in a game of that manner. Ezekiel Elliott, the MVP of the 2015 National Championship, also had 4 against Oregon. Judkins is the tail of the trio. The fullback is Patrick Gurr. The quarterback under center Carson Hinsman is Will Howard. First and goal, Ohio State from the Notre Dame 9. Howard under center gives to Judkins, scampering right, and a whistle flies before the play. Bennett Christian, the Ackworth, Georgia native in the Atlanta area, called for the false start off the left side of the line.
It's a spot you don't necessarily want to be in. But if you don't get the first, which you're in a spot where you're not going to, unless you get to the end zone, clock still runs under 2 minutes.
2 minutes left, fourth quarter, Ohio State up 31-23. First and goal from the Notre Dame 15 on the right hash. Notre Dame brings an extra backer in Drake Bowen. It's a handoff to Judkins, sleds off the right side of the line, and shimmies outside the right hash to the 14. And that is a pickup of nothing at second and goal. And Notre Dame takes its final timeout of the half with 1:53 remaining in the game.
I mean, what does that tell you about Marcus Freeman with his ability to have a potential to go down the field if you can get a stop here against Ohio State? You won't really have much time in any sense of the imagination to pull off a comeback.
I think it tells you he believes in his guys and believes in his defense, but the odds are stacked up against him. It's a one-score game right now. But then, assuming Ohio State tacks on a field goal, it's going to be a two-score game with probably about 20 to 30 seconds left.
At that point, if you're Freeman, do you just air it out to make it look a little better in the score column, or do you just kind of gentleman handshake your way in as course, he is an Ohio State alum, played linebacker there, and even went to the national championship with them in 07.
There's one thing you've learned about these teams. They're going to go down until the whistle blows finally. Ohio State in 13 personnel. Jeremiah Smith is the single man to the left. Christian Gray is his assignment. The running back is Travion Henderson. Howard just falls forward to the 13-yard line on the right hash with 1:50 left in the fourth quarter. The play clock is at 35 seconds left. And you can see the gaze on Ryan Day's face on the near sideline. He is staring down his first national championship. He's faced scrutiny at the end of November. His team lost 3 points to Michigan. Now they can taste the national championship. It's 31-23 Ohio State over Notre Dame. Clock running at under 1:20 in the fourth quarter. Ohio State huddles. And perhaps Ryan Day's waiting to call timeout
Exactly
to give his seniors, who came back for one reason and one reason only, to win a national championship, one last chance in a huddle together to experience this moment. For those listening at home, drink it in, soak it in, because Ohio State is 73 seconds away from being crowned national champions.
They did it in the first year of the 4-team playoff. Something about aggressive expansion Ohio State loves when it comes to the football side of things. And you even said it. 4 combined points in the 2 losses Ohio State took this year. 3 points against Michigan, 1 point against Oregon in Eugene. And from that point forward, Will Howard had even said it himself. There are some points that we're going to have as a team. We're going to have to go down. We're going to have to get better, but we still have a lot of football left, and here they are at the end of it.
3rd and 13, Ohio State on the Notre Dame 13-yard line. Up 31-23 against the Fighting Irish in the national championship with 1:13 left. Do you take a shot for it, or do you just fall down, maybe kick a field goal, and let it ride?
Rip it, why not? You might as well do it.
Howard in the gun. Henderson squeezed right behind him. There's a single receiver to the left. That's Bennett Christian. He motions from left to right. Snap to Howard. He runs it around the right end. Dashes forward head first to the 11-yard line with 1:05 and ticking in the fourth quarter. Play clock is now at 30.
All Day's going to have to do, call the 1 timeout, and you'll be within inside 20.
Game clock at 50. Play clock at 20. Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 23. The Buckeyes just have to wait until they can taste a national championship. For the first time since 2015, they won the first ever 14 college football playoff. That same year, a decade later, they can win the first 12-team playoff and become champions of change. Timeout, Ohio State. Jaden Fielding in the field goal unit out. 29 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and you can really feel it now if you haven't already.
Did you hear how eerily quiet it was? The Ohio State fans that are in Mercedes-Benz still somewhat can't believe it yet. Will Howard has got a smile on his face walking up to Jack Sawyer, realizing, hey, we're just 29 seconds away from getting a national championship. The smile's going through on everyone's face on Ohio State side. Riley Leonard on the other side, eyes watering. You could tell it's getting to him a little bit more. But they're giving this final attempt to Jaden Fielding. Last time Ohio State was in this building, and it got down to their kicker. They lost to Georgia on a last-second field goal miss, 42-41 in the Peach Bowl, the semifinal.
And that was attacking the other field goal to our left. This one is to the right. This will be a 33-yard field goal from the right hash for Jaden Fielding, who banged one from 46 earlier. The long snapper is John Froman. The holder is Joe McGuire. This one's from the right hash. Jaden Fielding has his right arm up into the air. He takes 2 side steps to his left. His left leg is in front of his right. He awaits the snap from Froman. It's back. Ball is spotted. The kick is on the way. It's a wobbly kick towards the right upright, and it is gone. With 26 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Jaden Fielding knocks in a 33-yard field goal, and the Buckeyes ice the national championship. It's 34-23, Ohio State over Notre Dame.
All they need is one stop. Howard can't believe it. They're showing Jeremiah Smith on TV next to Maurice Claret celebrating. That, as much as the score has gone in Ohio State's favor, that was such a big kick. They're showing Ryan Day extreme excitement on his face. He knows he can taste it. And the freshman phenom, first year in college football, he's going to walk away with a ring.
That 57-yard catch by Jeremiah Smith might be one of the most pivotal plays, not just in this game, but in this season.
And it didn't even end in a touchdown.
Jeremiah Smith is going to finish with 5 catches for 88 yards. He's got a touchdown to boot. Jaden Fielding, who just made it a 2-score game with 7 Nation Army reverberating around Mercedes-Benz Stadium. He's brought Ohio Stadium with him. He rushes up to the ball at his own 35. He boots it as Jaden Harrison awaits. Arms outstretched. It hits the gold-painted end of the Notre Dame painted end zone. And the Fighting Irish have 26 seconds left in their season, down 34-23. This Ohio State defense, the #1 total defense in the country, can just head out onto the turf here in Atlanta and stake their claim as national champs.
Only one stop is needed.
Riley Leonard, the 4th-year quarterback, awaits the long snap from longtime Notre Dame fan Pat Coogan. He's got trips to the right. Single man left. Here's the snap. Leonard looks left, dumps it off left side, caught by Love, ducks out of a tackle of Tuimoloau. Tyleik Williams stacks him up. 18 seconds on the clock. 15 seconds on the clock. Ohio State celebrates. Notre Dame walks anxiously to the line. 8 seconds left. 7 seconds left. 5 seconds left. The countdown is on. 3 seconds left. 1 second left. And Notre Dame can't get the snap off. Or do they? Leonard rolls right, dumps it off, middle of the field, caught by Greathouse. He's down to the 40. Jordan Hancock makes the tackle, and Ohio State completes the ultimate rise from the fall. They are national champions for the 9th time in school history, and the first champions of the 12-team college football playoff. The final score from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Ohio State 34, Notre Dame 23. The Buckeyes champions of change yet again.
What a season it has been for this Ohio State team. And same with Notre Dame. After that loss to Northern Illinois in week 2, no one knew what the outcome would be. They all thought the season's done. They can't even make the playoffs. And here the Fighting Irish were, fighting their way in the national championship. It even had it at one point within a single possession with a 2-point conversion on top of it. Have to give them credit for this Ohio State team. Ever since they lost to Michigan on November 30th, have been playing with a different kind of fire. And they walk away victorious, and Ryan Day officially has his first national championship.
Paul Brown, Woody Hayes, Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer, Ryan Day. Those coaches in the 100-plus year history of Ohio State football are the lone men to take home a national championship. And the senior class of almost 20 deep, who selflessly came back with one sole purpose to win a national championship, have completed the quest. And if there is one person that embodies what you see on the field, it's right tackle Josh Fryer, kneeling down at the 45 on the left side of the field in complete emotion, as is his entire teammates. And on the other side of a victory is the old adage of agony and defeat. But Notre Dame standing tall. The former Buckeye, Marcus Freeman, runner-up in his 3rd year as head coach, as they sway back and forth in the right corner to Notre Dame, our mother, the alma mater. What a scene here in Atlanta. Ohio State 34, Notre Dame 23. The Buckeyes with their backs against the wall, their playoff hopes unknown after the last Saturday in November. On the second to last Monday in January, they have climbed the college football mountaintop. For Austin Crume, for Connor Schuh, for Connor Canfield, I'm Tyler Danburg signing off for Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's coverage of the 2024-25 college football season.